with the whole
You
thing.
can't explain to me why zygote's a human.
Wait,
All you can say
we've
is
already
that
done the
an egg
science
cell
denial thing.
meets a sperm cell, and that makes it a human being deserving of rights for some reason that I can't quite put my finger on. There's nothing that I can measure, nothing you've given me that distinguishes a zygote from a skin cell, from a cat cell.
You haven't done
nothing.
any of it.
And you clearly haven't either, because you can't tell me. So stop accusing me of not doing research that you yourself clearly
doesn't
have
take away
not
the fact
done.
you still haven't done the research.
Into this debate
even if
unprepared.
I was brain dead,
unprepared.
I just fell on the floor. You still haven't done the research.
You came into this debate unprepared to explain to me why I should consider a zygote a person. All right, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, buddy? Hey, yeah, YouTube recommended your channel to me, like randomly, and I like to click on channels that don't have a lot of views. And I was.
Oh, gee, thanks. No, I'm just kidding. I got it.
Well, you know what I mean. There's just like
you.
every video is some guy throwing a watermelon off a water tower, or you know, some guy's like, "Hey, I got a boat with $10 million or whatever."
No,
check out my boat.
No, I'm just playing with you. I don't take any offense to it. I'm very small in the grand scheme. But that's not what we're here to talk about. So if you want to go ahead and just give us whatever name you prefer to go by, and then kind of what you're here to discuss with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, I have been sitting in the back seats of the peanut gallery for a long time. I feel old. I just starting to feel old. My backstory is basically went to kind of the school, was born really poor, went to the school in the hood. There was a lot of violent gangs back at my school. It was like the Hmongs versus the Blacks, basically. And still made it out alive. But I mean, I had friends. One of them got hit in the head with a lock, and that was the last time I saw him. Like he lived, but I just can't get hit in the head with a lock like that. So it was.
Wait, one sec. Did you said the what versus the what?
It was at the time it was, I believe, the Hmongs versus the Blacks. There were two big gangs at the school.
Oh.
And yeah,
okay.
Yeah. It was just there was a gang problem. There was a really big one, and they did institute a like almost a comical hardcore, almost like King of the Hill style what am I looking for? Like police, not a policeman, but more like a military guy. And he set up cameras everywhere. He really cracked down on the stuff. He did a good job, and it definitely helped, because it was rough times back then. Let me tell you. But eventually, I would get out of there. And I used to play a game called Magic the Gathering, and I was like my escape from all that. And what happened was that would eventually lead to basically community college. Nothing too crazy. Programming, it was pretty terrible back then. Programming in like DOS is pretty miserable. Something breaks. I remember my 3.5 floppy went bad, and I lost my work, and I was like, no,
programming in DOS.
DOS, like old DOS.
Oh, I was like wait.
Yeah,
that tells you how much I know about programming.
Yeah, it's like having a stone and a chisel. You're just like, here you go, teacher, and then it rains and your stone and chisel washes away. You're like, no.
Just real quick, I want to make sure we're progressing. So are we?
Yeah.
So
well, long story short, I would graduate from that. I would start playing poker, and that got me out of being poor. Very fun. There's a whole backstory there. But eventually, I would watch a lot of YouTube, because that's what you do while you're playing poker online until it got banned. Where that ended. And so now I sell stuff, which is very fun. I got pandemic too, so I'm kind of just stuck at home, but I'm okay. I'm still here. But I watched a lot of YouTube, and the problem is what I see is there is just a lot of rhetoric online that is not. That people don't stop and think, like, does my argument, like, does it make sense? Is this like something that could just not anyone use? You know what I mean? Like, rephrase it and just use it against me. Is it a fallacy? And I'm not even kidding. I've had conversations with people who are like, what fallacy is that? And they're like, I don't know what that word means. I'm just like, what?
Okay, but I think that, okay, so not everybody knows what the word fallacy means, but, to be fair, I don't read theory, like, ever at all, and yet I consider myself not a Marxist, but, like, somebody who espouses a certain Marxian values. So, like, it's not like you need intimate knowledge of all these things in order to make a good argument, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the problem is if you don't, you'll start making bad arguments, and you won't know that you're making those bad arguments, because you don't have the foundation to actually understand why even that beginning sentence is flawed. Like, the starting position is actually flawed. Like, I'll give you the Matt Walsh thing. We'll go straight to that. Is that when you made that argument, you're appealing to basically the fringe, because that is an extremely, extremely rare. In fact, it's so rare. When I went on the CDC, it's an asterisk.
But it still happens.
but is that the majority?
It doesn't
Right?
matter.
Because think about it this way: it does matter. Absolutely,
Why?
that's one of the key defining features. Because imagine, I argue, nobody should ride a plane ever, ever. They're dangerous. Kids die in plane crashes, which is
You're
true.
right.
Planes have crashed with kids on them. Therefore, they're dangerous. And anyone who sports anyone driving, flying a plane, just wants to kill kids. They want to drive them into, the river. Godzilla's going to eat them. And why stop at moralizing there? Why not just take it all the way? They're gonna land it in a field full of puppies, and it's going to be on fire. And you're bad for even questioning this question. And that's kind of the problem.
I understand where you're going with this, but you can also make So I know this falls into your argument, but you can also make the argument like, why walk outside your door every morning when there's always a risk of you dying or getting hit by a car or what have you? Why send your kids to school
that's
when there's a risk
of
when there's a risk of a school shooting constantly looming in the background? I understand that, but
humans are very
bad.
bad.
But you have to do a cost-benefit analysis as well as take risk factors into consideration. So, like, for instance, like people always bring up, oh, well, you wouldn't call it. Like for the cars, for instance, you brought up the airport, but most people bring up cars. And
cars are good too.
I can address the airport argument if you'd like, but I like the car one better because anytime anybody brings that up, like I do think, by the way, that cars are extremely dangerous for children. I would prefer children to not be in them ever at all. And the reason, like just the sheer amount of children that die all the time in car accidents is insane. It's really bad. So like I advocate for public transportation and a revised infrastructure that doesn't circulate around cars. Do
you have all the numbers for that?
All the numbers
for kids
how,
dying in car crash? We'd have to go over those numbers, for example, for you to make that claim, because you're opening with that claim, but I don't know if you actually have looked at those numbers.
But here's the thing, like I don't have to have that exact number on hand in order to make that claim. I can go and look it up now if you'd like.
But that is the opposite of what you should be looking at first.
But are you refuting that claim? Yes or no?
We would need to look at the numbers.
No, right now though, are you questioning that claim that a lot of kids could die in car accidents?
People die in car accidents all the time.
Yeah. So my question is, just answer the question real quick. Are you refuting that claim?
Well, we'd need to look at the numbers to see.
No,
how
we
often
don't.
That actually happens.
But this is the problem. Unless there is a point to be made, like
people
you don't have to
dying
refute
in cars
every claim.
But people dying in cars doesn't take away the right for people to drive them.
I agree with you.
But if we go
ahead.
Well, no, it's like a rights thing. The problem is something bad can always happen. Even right now, abortion is legal, right? Like there's places you can get abortions in the USA.
Sure.
Does the scenario, right, where someone gets and has a kid, does that still happen?
Yes.
So why didn't it solve that?
Why didn't abortion solve that? Because abortion isn't made to fix. It's made to be a solution for people who are pregnant and don't want to be.
See, but the thing is, there's actually the arguments I see online tend to be low resolution. If we pull all the way back, it's really not. Killing the baby's bad, obviously, because you're harming a human, right? That's a scientific, that's pretty much. The problem is I get into fights over that, science on that. I want to put out on the table where I stand, though. It's not really that I want to even have to pick, I'll pick a position, but it's wherever the evidence leads. It's that, do humans deserve rights to human life? Period. Should that we have that protected? As all of us, not a particular class of people, not sometimes, not when whoever is in power, who has more power, decides that it should be this way. Should humans have that protected, period? That's really what it comes down to.
I think a lot of times
when you do that, by the way, you are going to land up with some people getting fucked. I mean, that's just unfortunate. But the problem is you can't really remove that. It's a curse problem, which comes from game design. Is you can have your Smash Brothers, but as soon as one player is better than the others and it's multiplayer, they're going to gang up on that guy, and it's going to ruin his day, no matter how good he is. It's just a curse problem that you can't really solve. And I understand people empathizing with that bad scenario. I get it. I don't want that to happen either. I don't support that at all. But should humans have their right to life protected from basically the greater forces that could easily weaponize that? And when you do that, when you allow people to take your rights away like that, you open Pandora's box. The second you leave that box open, there's going to be some psychopaths that want to go straight up the top of the power chain or flip whatever hierarchy around with them on top of it. They're going to try to take advantage of it.
I'm a little lost. Which rights? The right to life? Are you
the right? Yeah, the right
to the right to the life of the fetus.
Well, the 14th Amendment, basically, your right to life, liberty, and happiness, and all that stuff. Your right to not just randomly be killed.
Okay, but you're making that argument for the fetus, yes?
Yeah, because scientifically, now let's say science came out and we're in the Matrix. That's not even a real fetus. You could totally use that to defeat that if somehow we could find out we're in the Matrix and not even a real person. You know what I mean? Like it would that would change, but that's not the case.
You're getting into like yeah, okay, you're getting into some weirdly weird arguments, but I guess like the okay, so in these arguments, what often ends up getting misconstrued is we say the word human to mean both a biological human and also a person with rights. And these are two distinct concepts. So to say that something is biologically, genetically, or what have you, human, that's a scientific concept. You know, we can measure that. We can look at genetics. We can look at does this person have
isn't a person a human though?
Well, not really. You can, you know, let's put it this way. Let's say that.
Yeah. What is a person that's not a human?
For instance, we'd have to argue within fiction, but there was a point in time in history where there were two different sentient species that were both intelligent. There was the Homo sapiens and the Neanderthals. They were separate species. So if, for instance, let's say that the Neanderthals were to have evolved alongside humans and we just couldn't interbreed, but we would both be intelligent, and we would all be people. We just wouldn't all be biologically human. Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, I guess I'd have to look into Neanderthals and
or like an alien, or like Star Wars, right? Like there are a bunch of aliens in Star Wars. You know, just to be even more simple about it, you know, like they're not all humans. In fact, I don't think any of them are technically, but they are all people. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the difference.
Well, this isn't Star Wars. But I understand what you're saying. It's just I would stand by that humans probably need their right to life protected, and that is going to unfortunately have some unfortunate consequences. But the real thing is that question is still an appeal to morality, and it is still a appeal. It's a cherry-picked appeal to morality. So asking the question in that way is in itself inherently fallacious.
But that happens. So we have to weigh that. Okay. So every single time that you make a policy decision like that, you have to weigh the two different outcomes of instilling the policy or not instilling the policy. And the way that I've weighed it out is, on the one hand, we have, if you allow abortions to proceed, what you're losing is, in your mind at least, the right to life of the fetus. I don't believe that fetuses have the right to exist attached to somebody who no longer wants it there. So I just don't take that to life. No, see, I don't have the right to attach my body to somebody's uterus and then.
But this is where we get into the responsibility.
So you're actually giving more rights to a fetus than you're giving to me.
We're hand waving away the responsibility. If a drunk driver gets in a car, right, and he drives around and he's drunk, we pull him over and we arrest him if we find him drunk, even though he didn't kill anybody, because he put other people's lives at risk by making the decision to get into the car.
Well, you had a reasonable cause to pull him over. He's being dangerous. Yes, you're right.
Well, some of them are harder to detect than others, but yeah, you'll generally notice a drunk driver. But the fact that he got in the car and made that decision is why we arrest him, because he has to take responsibility for taking that action. When you reproduce, I want
to stop you because
you've made an action that comes with consequences.
But that just gets hand waved. But the primary reason we pull over and arrest drunk drivers isn't to punish them; it's to keep people safe.
And to punish them, absolutely.
No, we do
Don't
punish
them.
Well, no, we want to discourage the behavior, but and that's secondary. I'm not arguing that we don't punish them, but the primary purpose of stopping them, the most important thing, is to keep them safe. And so, if I had a choice, if I had a choice between, let's say that I'm sorry, I'm getting off into a tangent here.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
But let's say that I had a choice between, okay, we can let that drunk driver continue home. As we can let them drive right now for as long as they want, but then after they're done, we're going to punish them. Or we can stop them right now, say, we're going to bring you home and then not punish you, right? I would take the second option because that's the one that's going to maximize safety. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, but the reason we arrest him in the first place is because he made a decision that has consequences. Once you make that decision, once you get in the car drunk and you drive, you're going to face the consequences when you get caught. That's the problem is once people reproduce, right, and they don't think about it, there's consequences that come with that.
Okay,
and they
but we're also talking about somebody getting, so that where's the responsibility? But that is again
a appeal to the fringes.
But it happens. But it still happens. So you need.
But then I can just argue with planes. I could just make the same argument. You can apply that.
You're
argument
right.
to
So we have
everything
so
that exists.
Okay. So then let's talk about planes. So let's weigh that out. Okay. We have, I don't know how many plane deaths occur. Every time it does, it's in the news.
They're actually very rare.
But they are very rare. You're right. So let's talk about planes for a second. So the trade-off is we have, accidents, right? Every single technological innovation comes with its share of new and unforeseen accidents, deaths, injuries that occur. So
yeah, and when a plane crashes, everyone's done. There's no surviving that usually.
So the risk of that happening is, pretty low, all things considered. I would say for cars, it's much higher, and that's why I want to, restructure. And even planes to some extent, I don't want planes to be in use as often, because guess what happens? Guess which mode of transportation has the least amount of injury? Trains. At least I think. I haven't looked into it, but I'm fairly sure it's trains.
Actually, I have a link to trains because I had a family member who drove trains. They're rare, yeah, but they do happen, and
no, they do.
You'd be surprised. They're pretty brutal because what people don't realize, because she told me about, like, I can't tell you how many stories. She's like, yeah, this person just stood in front of the train and the Swiss cheese. I was like, please don't describe that to me. That's horrible. It was like, but
Jeez.
But she saw stuff like that all the time.
But
you
can stand
when the
in
train
front of a
crashes,
car, so it's like
actually, she's part of the reason why they honk the train now, because she got that passed so that people could hear, because a lot of people were getting hit by them by not hearing them. So when you hear a train honk in an intersection or somewhere, that's why. As interesting as that is. Yeah, it's interesting, right? I didn't realize that until she told me. I was like, that's great. And she's like, yeah, it stopped a lot of people from smacked in the train. Because you could just be looking the wrong way. There's YouTube videos like that. Dude turns around, remember the train's right behind him, goes, room.
Okay,
and
so
if that bumps you, it'll shatter you. So when the train crashes, it'll shatter you in the train. And people don't realize, like, how brutal that is, because there's not a lot of seatbelts in some of those trains. People are often walking, you know what I mean?
I would have to look into it more, but from what I've seen and from what I've heard, trains tend to be the safest option, and so that would be the one that I want the most.
It's hard to crash a train, yeah.
Now, you also have to consider, like, what's the like, is it worth... It's a very difficult question, is it worth trading lives for better transportation? Like, how many lives is better transportation worth? But at the end of the day, people died on horses too. People die walking down the street too. So
do you see what's happening though? Is you could apply this to literally anything and justify.
I understand that, but you're still weighing these things out. So like let's take abortion.
Which I agree with.
Let's go back to
abortion. You should weigh them out.
Right. So
yes.
when you weigh these things out, when I weigh out the positives and negatives of abortion in my head, I simply do not see nearly as many negatives to abortion as I see positives. Rape is just the easiest thing to jump to. It's not that you're wrong, it happens the most rarely.
It's the easiest to moralistically challenge people on, because it's easy to paint them as a demon to be slayed rather than to make a good argument. And that's very unfortunate.
Okay, so there was...
Because that's what I was talking about. I was talking about all the bread tube and all the... And trust me, both sides do it. But that's generally where those start. And they want it to appear that you're bad. That's just why you are bad. You're bad if you don't agree with what I fallacy picked out of the thin air.
But I have reasoning because
I understand you do. I'm not targeting you. I'm not targeting you at all. None of this is against you personally. It's just I'm talking about the YouTube is one person sees that, and then another person repeats it, and then another person shares it on their YouTube channel. Like Tipster shared your whole thing, and then I didn't see a single person mention any critical thinking there. It was just two people talking past each other. Matt Walsh saying one thing, you saying another. Both sides thought they won. I mean, you can just go on YouTube right now, and everyone who's a fan of Matt Walsh is like, "Well, we got him, folks," and everyone who looks up to you is, "We got him, folks."
Well, I've seen overwhelmingly, and there are people who disagree that I came out looking good. For instance, Hunter Avalone said that I didn't do a good job, but I think that those people are hyperfixating.
Hunter Avalone is already part of that group that would agree with that. That's the problem.
Wait, that would agree with what?
With that position.
With Matt Walsh's position?
No, your position.
Oh, with my position. No, he said I didn't do a good job. He said
okay. Sorry, I got that backwards then.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And it's fine. He can have his opinion, but I do disagree with him because I think he's hyperfixating on the specifics of, like, the intricacies of the argument. When my only goal in going there, it was kind of to make Matt Walsh look bad, because I think that the things that he's doing are bad, and I want his audience to see that. And a lot of them did. Like it or not, forcing a 13-year-old through a pregnancy is not a popular position to hold.
But that's the thing is people aren't supporting that. That is a bad thing that no one supports.
No. There are plenty of people who support if a 13-year-old gets pregnant. It may be misunderstood. If a 13-year-old gets pregnant, afterwards they support the 13-year-old carrying the pregnancy to term, and I disagree with that fundamentally.
I don't think they actually support that, though.
Yes, they do. No, you have to. When you are presented with a pregnant 13-year-old, You have to make a decision. Do you want this 13-year-old to carry that pregnancy to term, or do you not? And I say no.
But should you violate everyone's right to human life to get that?
I'm not violating everyone's human right. I'm violating the fetus's right to stay attached to the womb of a 13-year-old.
The actual numbers are like less than like literally a handful.
But it still happens. Cases. So you need to reckon with that.
But then you can just take that argument and apply it to everything again because it's fallacious from the beginning.
Okay, well then go ahead. Take that argument and apply it to something else, and I will take responsibility for it.
The planes. We go right back to the plane. You could restrict planes. You could restrict bikes.
Yes, and that is a risk. And that is...
You could restrict houses.
You're right.
You could restrict
and with planes,
speaking. You could restrict breathing.
Okay, but with planes, that is a risk I'm willing to take. People dying. Okay, because planes are a very important innovation that lets us get all over the world, and it excels human progress. Okay, so yes, people are going to die on planes, but people die in all kinds of transportation as well. You know, people die every day from all kinds of things. So there are risks that we need to take sometimes. I'm not taking the risk of a 13-year-old carrying a pregnancy for 9 months, having a chance of dying, being permanently injured, and like it's just not worth it. That's not a worthwhile risk to take.
But that is still
because what's the outcome? Because what's the outcome? The outcome of that risk that you're taking is a baby. Hold on. The outcome. Well, let me explain. The outcome of the risk that you're taking is a baby that she cannot take care of, and that likely won't have like a very good childhood just because of circumstances. So I just don't understand why.
We're getting into the second stuff. I'm going to get into stuff. I'm going to get into some things here because I've already heard all these arguments before. I'm going to get into stuff here you haven't heard of. And I'm, again, never attacking you. I understand. A million people have said this to me. And you'd have to talk to the survivors of abortion and the children of rape. They are two groups.
When you say survivor of abortion, what do you mean? Because I don't... See, I didn't know any of this until I looked into it. Right, this is all during when I had my poker journey, and I realized when I played poker, dude. What kind of websites were you looking at?
I have to give you a little side here. When I played poker, I was like, I am playing against fully grown adults. This guy was a military expert. This other guy I played against is like a professional businessman. These people don't know math. They are just lighting their money on fire. They come in here and they just light it on fire, and they just give me their money because I play cards. I was like, because I played Magic the Gathering before, and that's when I realized I was like, is everyone not know what's going on here? Like, I'm not saying everyone's stupid, but I was like, people don't realize certain aspects of some things that they do, and I do it all the time. Sure, I went out and worked on a deck the other day. I don't know how to build a deck. I did. The guy was constantly telling me, don't do that. Don't leave those there. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry. There's probably a lot more that goes into this that I have no idea. I just never built a deck before. Okay. But that's kind of what I realized, and that's how I started getting deeper into basically critical thinking, rationalism and stuff like that. And I realized, and then YouTube, which wasn't like this before, started spiraling out of control, where basically two forces were just trying to paint the other one as bad, evil, whatever, to be defeated for clicks and views. And there's three types of people who run that content. There's the bad actors, right? The ones that just couldn't care less about truth, don't care, as long as they can rally their base and get some clicks and content. It doesn't matter how bad. You could literally post a picture of them literally lighting a pack of zebras on fire, right, in a sanctuary, and that would just help them somehow. We've all seen those guys on YouTube, every one of us, both sides. And so then there's the people in the middle that kind of are like trying to make good content, but they just lack that critical thinking, and they don't realize the fallacy arguments that they're making, that they're basing a lot of this off of. And that's why you get a lot of the circular argumentation, and they're not thinking about the bigger picture of like what is best for the humans as a whole. All the humans, not a particular group of humans anywhere. You have to include everybody, and it has to be better for everybody overall. And bad stuff will still happen. That's very unfortunate, but we want that bad stuff to be as small and as minuscule as possible until, honestly, with the rise of technology, a lot of stuff will be solved. Like ectopic pregnancies get mentioned a lot. That will be solved by medical intervention at some point.
And that's great. So that's, but that's, okay. So one thing that science will not solve, at least not in any time in the near future, is so like that's it's going to be relevant for a long time, right?
The penalty for that could literally be, we will blow your city up, and they'd still do it because they just don't care. Like you're never gonna stop somebody who's doing some evil like that, has some mental disorder, or is crazy from doing. Well,
that. you can mitigate the behavior, you can reduce it, but at the end of the day, you are always going to have people who do horrible things like that. So
yeah, but that's not enough reason to take away everyone's rights.
Okay, you're right. You're correct, and that's why I don't like the whatever it's called at the airport. I always forget the acronym. The DSA, is that what it is?
Which one?
DSA, I forget. It's like whatever security agency they have there after 9/11. It sucks. So I agree that there are extremes that you can go to. So like, like, okay, let's say that, okay, we want to stop. Well, the easiest way to do that is just to castrate everybody, and then nobody can. Anybody, right?
See how that?
That's oversimplifying what rape is. But
that argument has a name. That argument is a road to hell argument, where the road sounds good, but then at the end you get everyone castrated, which is
okay.
Bad.
That's okay. So, but my point is, like that. Like I understand that there are extremes you can go to. I don't think abortion is one of those extremes. I simply don't.
Well, I'm gonna mention them. So you have to talk to the children of rape and the survivors of abortion. They're all pro-life. They're all.
I don't care if they're pro-life.
They're the people you're killing. You're.
No, I'm not killing them. I'm not. They're not.
You're
ever
legalizing
existing.
their death.
So if they had, no, I'm not. If they had, listen, there are people in my ball sack right now, half people who could be connected to people in my fiance's uterus. Okay, half people in there, and one half of so my sperm makes up one half, and her eggs make up another, and so like. Every single individual sperm in my balls right now could be a potential human if it connects to an egg. So like I don't buy that, because if that's the case, then every time I jerk off, I'm killing millions.
Yeah, but that's
badass.
Why they need,
but I digress.
Yeah, that is badass. But again, it's the drunk driver thing. He has to get into the car for us to arrest him. If he's drunk and he's standing near the car, he hasn't committed any kind of crime. That's basically what's going on.
I don't think I'm following you.
So if a drunk driver stands next to a car, should we arrest him for being drunk? No, right? He has to get into the car and drive it. Once you've made that decision, you accept the responsibility of the consequences. Once you've mated with somebody and you've conceived that child, you bear the consequences of that action. And that's what gets hand-waved every time.
Then why do we treat STDs?
The abortion is a way to get around the responsibility.
Then why treat STDs? Isn't that also part of the responsibility?
What STDs? I mean, those are just that. I don't think that has anything to do with this. We should
cure
those.
Wait. There's always a risk of getting STDs. So why would we waste, like, let's say that we had like a taxpayer healthcare funded system.
Well, this is just a separate argument.
Well, no, it's not. It's very related. So why should our medical industry be tasked with treating STDs when that just takes up time and money and resources for something that is avoidable?
Yeah, but people could just lie about their STD. Like, that happens all the time, unfortunately. Like, I totally don't have herpes, man, and then you mate with someone and give them herpes.
Well, that was a risk that you took. You slept with somebody that you made the mistake of trusting them, and now you have herpes. So congratulations, we're not treating you.
Yeah, there's consequences
because that's your fault
for not getting tested.
So then why treat it?
Because it's treatable. That's a solvable problem.
So is pregnancy.
It's not a cursed problem.
So is pregnancy.
These are two separate issues, and we're
no,
trying
they're
to
not. So is pregnancy. Both of those are consequences of having sex.
Yes, correct. But one of them is a trust issue that the other person lied to you, or you didn't get tested. I have gotten tested before because there was a chick I was with. I was like, I don't know. I feel bad asking.
If I choose to have sex with somebody and not wear a condom, I can get them pregnant. Like if I lie to them and say I'm wearing a condom.
There is risk whenever you do that. There is inherent risk.
Yes. So or the condom can break. But since you're saying it's a trust issue. What if I lie, which I would never do, but what if I did? What if I lied and said I'm wearing a condom and I wasn't, and then I got her pregnant? Like, that's not on her.
You would think she would have eyes, but I understand what you're saying.
Okay, but that's
I understand.
Stealthing.
Like, let's say you snuck it off. Yeah,
yes.
You were a ninja. Yeah, exactly. You're the condom ninja, and yeah.
No, it's called no. This is a real thing that happens. It's called stealthing. You just slip it off real quick while she's like, enjoying the moment. Like, it's not that difficult. Not that I've ever done it, but it's not that difficult.
I understand. There's people who do bad stuff. I get it. The thing here is once you engage in that, you still have to accept the consequences. Like, even if you were drunk,
like an
right?
STD, right?
And you fell into the car.
Like an STD.
And
So wait. So let's say I give somebody an STD after stealthing them. Do they have to accept the consequences of that?
Well, it's a crime.
I know that, but they took the risk of trusting me. So do they have to accept the consequences of the STD?
If you trusting people comes with risk.
Yes,
That's
you're
just
right.
How it
so
is.
Now they have an STD, so we shouldn't treat it because they should have known better.
But why are we coming to the conclusion that we shouldn't treat it when it's
because
treatable?
You're saying because that's a waste of time and money and resources. Why would we treat that?
No, it's not. That's a totally altruistic good thing to do.
Why? It was her fault for trusting me. Why would we waste time, money, and resources?
Well, the problem, the reason these are two separate arguments is getting an STD doesn't create another human. It doesn't violate the human life element of the whole thing. The rights. There's no rights being violated here.
What about the rights of the What about
Someone's
the
just
rights
being an
of the
asshole.
what about the rights of the organisms involved in the STD? What about their lives?
We're arguing for STD rights here.
Yeah.
Do we really want to try to
you might as well be
hill?
because that's every time that I hear about fetus rights, that's what I hear is basically just STD rights.
The science of that is that once those meet and that new cell is generated, that is indeed a human life, and the problem.
Why? Okay, it's a potential human life still because
we're getting into like flat Earth level science denial.
What does it have that constitutes it being a human? Tell me.
Literally, have you read the science behind it at all?
A person. A person. I do this. Yeah,
but I'm just asking you: have you looked into the science of why that even happens?
This is going back to what I said at the beginning, right? I already said this. We're conflating what constitutes a human biologically, and what constitutes a person, and who deserves.
Well, no,
rights. It's separate concepts.
The big question is should people have the rights to human life? 14th Amendment, should that be protected from someone?
Should a person have the right to life? Yes. Do I consider a fetus a person? No.
So the second part is the science denial then, and that's why you're.
But let's say, but even if I did, by the way, even if I did consider the fetus a person, which I don't, but let's say that I did.
But my question is, why don't you? But you can just look up the science right now. We could just easily look it up.
Because person and human are different, and person is not scientific concept.
Well, I refer to people as human. I don't like the word people because it's it is very easy.
But let's say that I did consider
it
a person. Let's just see that argument to you and say that it is a person, right? Just for a second. Okay,
sure.
That person still does not have the right to attach themselves to somebody's uterus and feed off of them for 9 months. Okay, they don't have the right. And if somebody did that to me, by the way, if they hooked themselves up to, like, let's say my colon and started feeding off of it,
but this is already fallacious.
If that were the way to get them off.
This is the parasite argument, and it's not a parasite. It's mutualism, and there's parasitism.
It's not mutualism. It's literally parasitism.
It is.
I know what these are. I studied biology. Okay.
No,
it is literally parasitism.
Because parasitism can't be the same race.
Dude.
They can't be the same race. A parasite cannot be the same race as the thing it's in.
So here's
that is the first part of being a parasite. You
just stop for 1 second. Just stop for 1 second. So here's the distinction that you are making between a fetus and a parasite. The only tangible distinction that you have made here is that the fetus has human DNA. Which means that the behavior of the fetus is still that of a parasite. So
that is
in
incorrect.
This instance,
that is scientifically inaccurate.
Okay, well then, what is the behavior? Explain it.
It's mutualism. It's not actually. It's not because that is. You just want me to Google it? Like,
do you know what a mutualism?
Baby and the mother.
Okay, mutualism.
Neither loses nor benefits greatly. There's no.
I promise you, I have seen pregnant women and they're losing greatly.
This is okay. Well, I've seen them and they were doing great. They loved it.
Like, they loved it. They loved pregnancy. I've never heard of this. I mean, I understand if you want to be a mom, then that's exciting. But you're still like destroying your body for pregnancy. Like you're literally stretching your body out.
Yeah,
humans are barely. I hope you understand that humans are barely built for pregnancy. Like we are really not built to reproduce.
I would not agree with that. Millions and millions of years of evolution.
But think about this.
Think about it. We can go a little deeper here.
Hold on. No, let me say something real quick. Think about the fact that pregnancy and birth for humans specifically is a hugely medical process. With other animals, it's not that way. And do you know why that is? It's because of it's several things, but the biggest factor is our massive craniums, our head sizes. We just have heads that are so much bigger than other animals, and vaginas that frankly are not. And vaginal canals. So, like, it's dangerous. Women die all the time giving birth, way more than other animals.
That is
because
our
heads are just wait. Well, no, women do. I
looked all this up beforehand, man. I'm sorry.
Okay, they die often enough. I'd say. I mean, in the United States,
it's the same appeal to the fringes.
That's okay, but you're missing the point of my argument, though, man. Stop with all these like appeal to the fringe. I don't care what these things are labeled. Okay, I know you sound smart and all that, but like.
But that's like if a flat earther said, "Stop saying it's circular." Like, what am I supposed to do? I can't. Like, what am I gonna do at that point?
That's not but
the same with the antinatalism people. If you know them, they'll just be like, "Everyone's unhappy." I project onto them the unhappiness.
Okay, but my point is, like, pregnancy is dangerous. There's no getting around it.
And there is some inherent risk, correct?
And fetuses get all the benefits of growth and development, while women reap the consequences. That is parasitism.
No, that is absolutely not true.
Yes, it is.
That is scientifically inaccurate. Parasitism cannot be not only the same thing,
if somebody's living with me, if somebody's living in my apartment and I'm paying all the rent, and they're leaving messes everywhere and never cleaning up after themselves, that I'm going to call that person a parasite. Scientifically, obviously, that would be a little bit weird, but
no, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I would
same.
actually agree with the person, because I've been in that scenario, man. I had some guy who just refused to just pick up his clothes, like the whole thing. Yeah, those people, you could easily call them a parasite, because they're detrimenting you to living there, and you're paying money to be there.
Exactly.
But when you make a decision to reproduce, you must reap those consequences.
But the decision wasn't to reproduce. But the decision wasn't to reproduce. It was to have sex. It was just to have sex.
And there is inherent risks there.
You're right. There are. So if you need to mitigate those. Nobody wants an abortion, dude.
Of course not. No. I understand that.
Right. So if you tell somebody, listen, if you don't use protection, you are liable to get pregnant, and then they proceed to have unprotected sex and then get pregnant, that in itself is a huge problem that they have to deal with, even when abortion is legal, because abortion sucks. Okay, like it really does.
No, I totally understand that. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah, it's a bad thing.
Right. Well, no, the abortion procedure sucks to go through. It is not all abortions.
I can only imagine. Yeah, that's got to be terrible.
Well, my ex went through one, and when you add to that, like, all of the guilt tripping that they do, they force you to go to these fucking therapy procedures or pseudo therapy or whatever to like look at ultrasonic images of your fucking crotch goblin inside of you. Like, it's just gross. It's already hard enough on them. Why are you making it harder?
No, it's bad. I'm sorry that happened, by the way. I mean, that must have sucked.
Well, it did, and I learned a lot. But I'm not trying to self-pity here. All I'm trying to say is, mistakes happen, and if somebody wants a thing that is acting as a parasite removed from their body, I just don't see the problem.
But it's not a parasite.
But it's acting like one, yes?
No, not at all. You made a decision to put it there. You're the one who put it there, right? By taking the risk.
If I choose to put a leech on my body, it's still acting like a parasite.
That doesn't change that. Put the leech there.
But it's still acting like a parasite. And if I want to remove it,
there's nothing it does. That's parasitic.
So wait, if I put a leech on
there is no detriment to your body. Millions of years of evolution have ensured that.
If I put a leech on my body on purpose, do I have the right to remove it?
The problem is that is another false. That is an inaccurate comparison, though, because a leech is inherently a parasitic organism.
But I put it there.
But the fetus isn't a leech.
But I put it there. But it doesn't. But this is your logic. I put the leech there.
So you're saying if you put a bomb on your back and it explodes, yeah, it's gonna hurt you.
So I can commit animal abuse by killing this leech after I put it on me. You're saying that's okay?
I don't think a leech qualifies as an animal. Isn't it like an organism, like a
leech
fish
is an
or
animal.
Something? It's like some kind of
fish are also animals, my friend. Fish are animals.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a fish here. Look at me. No. The thing is with the leech is already a parasitic creature. That's the whole point of the leech.
That's the whole point of a fetus too. Do you know what an umbilical cord does?
That is just sleight of hand to call the fetus a leech.
No, it's not. It's literally
like
the same concept,
man. It's in your pocket, man.
But it's the same. Break down the difference.
I can easily compare the fetus to something that is bad.
You would be correct in doing so because it's doing the same thing.
The problem is there's a personal bias, and we have to constantly engage in science denial to get to the conclusion that the fetus is bad. That's the problem.
No, I can prove that the fetus is bad. It feeds off of the mother. It expands her uterus.
But the science completely disagrees with all that. But
the science. Wait, hold on. The science disagrees with what?
That it is a parasite.
How? Explain how.
Because millions of years of evolution, right? Can we get? I'm hoping we get that far. That happened, right?
Yes.
Okay, humans evolved, right? Which is why. Do you remember being born? Was it painful?
I don't know.
Exactly. We evolved.
I was there, but
to not remember that. Oh, you had. I hope you were there. I think I was there, right?
I was there.
I saw Agent K, just like Men in Black. He phasered me.
As I am now, I was not there to witness it, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. Yeah, that's why you don't remembering that. It's evolution has ensured that there will be more humans, and that's why every next generation is either taller. I mean, a good example is the lady with the trains, right? I went on her old train museum tour. Dude, we used to be. If you go on that train thing, it'll trip you out. We used to be so small. I can't fit into the seats. She couldn't fit in the seats, and she's like, 3/4 my size. And I'm not that tall. So I was like, dude, the kitchen was wild. It's like a kitchen for like some cartoon with dwarves or something. You'd see like they're having a good time during Christmas baking. And that's because we used to be smaller. And in the last 100, 200 years, we've gotten way taller, way bigger. And it's through those iterations that have made the humans smarter, taller, etc. Why we're on top of the food chain, right?
Where are we going with this?
The birthing is not super gonna destroy you. We were built for that. Now we'll
no, we're not
make you
built
look
for
worse.
it. Birth came before.
it.
I hope you understand the process of sexual reproduction came far before humans came into existence. So like that process is so all of evolution is
I would agree with that. Yes.
It's a very clunky, thrown together with duct tape and paper clips kind of process. Okay? And we can see this all the time. I mean, look at birth defects just as an example. You know, like evolution and genetics.
There's the fringe argument again. Go ahead.
Okay. My point is that evolution is a very sloppy process. And so that sloppiness, and by the way, another example of that is our backs. Do you know how bad human back
one of my friends had kyphosis. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes,
exactly. So why would evolution give us that? You know,
there's actually a reason. Do you know why that happens?
Why?
Because there are mutations that are natural in everyone. It just happens.
Well, I know that, but to that point. Mutations are the reason. Wait. Do you understand that mutations are the reason humans exist, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's why everything.
So exactly. So it was an accident. Yes.
No, it was intentional action.
How?
And I'm not and I'm not religious. No gods. No sky daddies.
Okay. I thought that's what you meant. But now I'm even more interested.
You don't understand that. You think
I'm even more interested now. How is it intentional?
Some of the craziest arguments I've ever gotten into have been with religious people.
Yeah, but that would make more sense to me.
It got really wild.
That would make more sense to me if you were religious after saying that. How is it intentional at all?
Well, look, we're getting astronomy. So I have a background in astronomy, and the problem is it's like almost outside the sky. I would have to give you so much information. But that's what I wanted to do actually, was to get into that, but it didn't pay shit. Even it's weird, dude. The guy who taught me didn't look like Gordon Freeman. He was Gordon Freeman from Half-Life. If he wasn't such an angry hard ass, I was gonna bring my copy of Half-Life, and everyone in the classroom was like, "You got to get him to."
Okay.
I almost did it, but basically how it works, and I'm gonna get into. How do I summarize this? I'm gonna summarize this as much as I can. Okay. Is that incentive? Okay, so
take as much time as you need.
Yeah. I'm gonna make this like so everyone can understand. I want to get into like quarks and shit. That stuff's boring. I don't want to sit here like Ben Stein and red eyes. But basically how it works is time is infinite, right? And Stephen Hawking tried to prove that matter was disappearing. And he actually had sound math behind that. But I actually think there was a secondary reason, and after studying all that stuff, because he was disproved later, matter is not disappearing. And if it was, you would get a paradoxical domino effect. Basically meaning once you create one paradox, you actually, by having that occur, you get an infinite amount of other paradoxes because the logic no longer connects. Like a puzzle you're putting together and the pieces don't fit. Suddenly, once one piece doesn't fit, all the others aren't going to fit. And so what ends up happening is matter cannot disappear. You can smash it, you can blow it up, you can turn it into really small stuff, but it's still there.
I understand.
When we die, when we die, we're dead. We see us as dead, but that's the optics of what we can see. We really don't know what happens after that point, other than I can tell you the matter will eventually be reabsorbed or moved somewhere else or whatever. I don't know. A chicken could eat your corpse. Who knows? And then that matter has to go somewhere. Right? Okay. So if you go all the way back, and this is where I get into like the religious people, they always try to fucking put the Big Bang as like the beginning of everything, even though that's not. That is, when you listen to any PragerU stuff, the first thing they're going to do when they talk about the Big Bang is they're going to be like, it couldn't have all began with an explosion, and that isn't even what it posits. It's just a complete straw man. And that is just the furthest point we can measure. It's called a means of measurement fallacy when people say that something couldn't have happened beyond a certain point. Just because we don't have the tools to measure it today doesn't mean that we won't be able to measure it tomorrow, especially when technology has gotten like ridiculous. If you told me there were going to be smartphones in my life, I'd be like, what? What the hell is like your phone? Oh, so you can do anything with it? And so that is generally, it's the same fallacy though that gets made with, again, the fetus, because at some point we will be able to measure literally up to the point of conception information about that. And take the pandemic as an example.
So wait, are you saying that we can like mathematically calculate everything that has happened or is going to happen? Is that your argument?
No. I'm just saying we will be able to have better measurement tools that will essentially, it's like the God of the gaps, right? Every time we discover something more about science, what happens? God has to move because now we know more about it. And he's going to hide behind the next alley, right? That's always what they all do, right? And so, but by the way, the previous point I just want to point out was incentive. Incentives exist Therefore, everything. If there's, let's say there's nothing. There's just nothing except a table and a ball. And there's a little tiny slant on the table. The table's just slanted slightly, and there's infinite time. That ball will fall off the table, no matter how long it takes. And then that ball will hit something, and then something else will happen.
But there's no reason to assume that.
That is how reality works.
But
that's just not. That's not. We're not assuming anything.
If no forces act on the ball, it will not move.
Well, that's the thing is those
that
forces.
We know of.
Well, again, that's a means of measurement. That's what I'm talking about. Is we can only measure so much, so we can only know so much as our tools can measure, right? And not everything that can be measured we'll be able to even measure, because when you get into quarks, they move when you measure them. Blah blah blah. So yeah, that's a good. But
are you saying
that's
okay,
a good
so
tricky
basically
thing for the universe to do?
Well,
no, I'm just saying.
I'm trying in my head to circle this back around to evolution.
Yeah, that's why I was afraid. It gets a little complicated when I get into that. But basically, incentives are why humans got better. Incentives are why life is here. Because there was an incentive and infinite time, eventually it's just going to happen.
But
it's
then
like a slot machine. You pull infinite time, you're going to win.
Okay, but you understand that like evolution works forward and backward, right? Like it's not a trajectory.
But that's where survival of the fittest comes
in. It could technically be too energy intensive to maintain our current brains. Like that could happen eventually.
We would evolve,
and we would evolve to be dumber. You know,
we would evolve to correct that. No, the dumber people will
not necessarily dumber, but we would evolve to have smaller brains. I'm not saying it's not true that the dumber people would die. Think about it. Like if you have a really dumb guy with a gun, and you have Albert Einstein, who wins that fight? Okay, like evolution is weird.
That's a very specifically cherry-picked argument.
I'm not gonna... Wait. No, evolution is all about survival of the fittest. Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I'm agreeing, and that's why the dumb people would die off. The smarter you are, the longer you live.
That's not true.
Though. No, that is a stat. That is literally.
Okay.
IQ is
how smart do you think? How smart do you think cats are?
I don't know. They're cats.
Yeah, but they're not as smart as us, though, right? They're not as smart.
Nowhere even close. Yeah.
They're really stupid. But like they're really good.
But they're adorable.
Yes, but they're really good at screwing and protecting and getting food and protecting themselves. They're very good at those three things. Very good. I would even argue they're probably at this point in time. I'm sure there's other examples, but I think that they're the apex of evolution. Cats, because they're just so flexible and immune to damage. They're insane. But the reason I'm bringing this up though, is to explain that being smart is not always the most evolutionarily advantageous. So like evolution to circle back around finally to the
cat's number one thing is the pheromones that they let off that make things more docile.
Right. But we're getting into the weeds. So we're getting into the weeds.
But the cats are around because we treat them as pets. If the cats were not good pets, they wouldn't be doing so good.
Okay, sure.
Same thing for dogs. Dogs evolved to be friendly to humans.
It doesn't matter how they came about.
The option of coexisting with the number one on that food poll. The reason the dogs evolved to benefit us is because there was an incentive to do so, and with infinite time, it was done.
But you're saying that there's some kind of ethereal incentive to.
Well, incentives exist no matter if you like them or not. They're just always there.
Wait. Incentives don't exist without life. Like, there's no incentive to do
Incentives
anything.
could actually exist without life. It's just the incentive for a ball to roll off and tail will require force.
Well, see, that's a weird word to use, though, because that would just be like a natural...
It's hard to imagine because it's hard to not imagine there being life.
But an incentive implies purpose, and there's simply no purpose.
No purpose attached. The incentive could be purposeless.
No, but that doesn't track, though. Because, like, what you're trying... Okay, so... To back up.
Well, I mean, people do stuff all the time where there's
no incentive, but like
purposeless. People do stuff for no reason all the time. That's just welcome to.
But if there's an incentive, there's a purpose. They're always that. I mean, that
sometimes there's
a purpose. I can't really think of an instance. Well, no, that's okay. You don't have to. But incentives can and cannot have a purpose. Okay, but the point is,
depends on the context.
I still don't see how this makes evolution not an accident. Like it was like. We have mutations that happen by accident.
I can understand if somebody said accident, but with infinite time, it was inevitable.
That's not even true. You see what I'm saying?
Like let's say you walk up and play a slot machine, and you play just one time on a progressive, and you win. Is it an accident, or was it inevitable?
Well, slot machines are literally programmed to dish out money. You can have like a broken slot machine that never wins.
The way the slot machines rip you off is they don't pay out the correct amount of times that it would. So if there's you're going to win this 1 out of 60,000 times, they don't pay $60,000. They pay 40,000. So they win the 20,000.
Okay.
And that's how they gauge
what you're
win.
arguing though is that with given enough time, all things are possible, and I just don't
Well, no,
first
that's
of
not
all,
what I'm saying. I'm just saying. I'm basically saying incentives through evolution, which is why that even happens, because it's incentive based, is why humans got so good at doing what we do. It's just evolution.
Okay, just real quick, I think that one of my chatters is correct. We got to get some clarity here. So
yeah, for sure.
So let's try to come back to the abortion thing. So
yes.
what I'm trying to say is humans, the reason that we got into this is because I proposed that humans are not evolutionarily built very well for pregnancy. We're very clunky beings for that. And that's proven by the fact that, one, it takes 9 months to gestate. I'm pretty sure other animals don't take nearly as long. We come out half gestated, and that is a scientific fact. We're not even really, like, we consider it full gestation, but really other animals stay in for far longer, relatively speaking, for their development. And that, well, actually, I could have been wrong about them not carrying the pregnancy as long.
I don't know the gestation period of every animal.
Right, I don't either. But what I do know is that other animals come out far more.
I'm sure there's some weird science channel I could watch where, like, the blue dove hummingbird takes 40 years to gestate.
Okay, but take giraffes, for instance. Giraffes, as soon as they're popped out, they start walking. Can humans do that?
I mean, no.
No, because we are not fully gestated. We're not
giraffes.
Well, we're also not fully gestated. And it also takes an enormous medical procedure for us to have children, and it's very dangerous, and you can get injured or even killed. With other animals, you could technically, but it's way less of a risk
I would disagree with that last part, because for the entire, basically, human existence, besides this last fraction of a percent, that's what happened. There was no medical intervention outside some.
And a lot of people died.
Probably with a pile of bone. Yeah. Well, not. It probably wasn't the majority, since there's
maybe not the majority, but you could say 51%.
But there's perpetually more humans over time, so people weren't dying at a higher rate than they were being birthed, or we wouldn't be here. So that's
I understand, but it's still dangerous.
Back in the day, I'm just saying there's probably
but good
with
enough.
Some bones dancing around, you know.
Okay, but you're saying
that's the birther.
Okay.
He's the guy trying to help you give the baby.
But you're saying good enough. You know, like some of you may die, but that's
Mother Nature's pretty brutal. That's just Mother Nature. Mother Nature's gonna.
But it's far more dangerous for a human. My point in all of this is abortion is an acceptable option and a much safer alternative to pregnancy and birth.
We will still circle back around. Should humans have rights to human life and not have?
You're saying biological humans. So explain to me what a biological human is to you, because that is what you are basing your personhood status off of. Well,
my goal would be to close Pandora's box so that no bad actors or anybody looking for power grabs or whatever, or just someone who's being a dick, can reach their hand into the box and fuck everyone else.
I don't know what that means. So what I would do... hold on. Please be clear in your language. Please explain specifically what you mean.
Pandora's box is
no.
Pandora's box. Which one?
Okay. I need you to, metaphors are okay, and figures of speech are okay, but I need you to be a little bit more blunt with your words. Is that okay? Because I keep hearing, I don't want this person to stick their hand in the Pandora's box, when all I asked you is, what is a human being?
Human being is a human from when the cell is formed, all the way till they die. That is a human.
When what cell is formed?
The sperm and the egg.
The sperm and the egg
come together
and create the
zygote.
The zygote. Yes,
correct.
That's what you consider a human.
Yes, the scientific definition.
Okay, by what metrics is it a human? What can I measure on a zygote and say yes, this is human?
You examine it in a lab. I mean, I don't know.
Examine what? What am I looking for?
The zygote itself, the cells, the cell makeup.
But the cell makeup. So what about the cell makeup? Like what specifically about the cell makeup?
You read what it is, and then the screen goes, that's a human.
Read what? Wait, how does the screen know it's a human? What is it measuring?
The cells, like what the cells are made up from.
Okay, so what do the cells need to be made of?
Let me give you a better, because we're kind of going in circles here.
I don't think we are. No, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. You're saying that a zygote is a human. So by what metric is it a human?
The cell makeup. The
cell makeup. So what about the cell makeup makes it a human? This is not going in circles. This is dissecting.
You're asking me for knowledge that I haven't worked as a biotech lab.
But let's stop here, because you're very insistent that the zygote is a human, and yet you have difficulty explaining to me how it's a human.
But that doesn't change the scientific fact that it's human.
So then,
just because I can't step by step detail you like a 50-foot journal of some book somewhere doesn't mean.
But you need to at least have a basic concept of what you're discussing, because you're saying the zygote's a human.
I said,
and I say, okay, why? Okay, so
two...
let's back up here. I said, why is the zygote a human? You said because of its cellular makeup. I said, what about its cellular makeup makes it a human? You said if you stick it into a computer, it'll pop out human, and that's what makes it human.
The actual
what computer
makeup.
am I working with? What's the cell makeup?
I don't make those computers.
Makeup of what?
You need to talk to a lab tech who deals with that stuff.
Are you talking about the cell membrane? Are you talking about the innards? Are you talking about like most people stick with the genetics, right?
So take
but
an
something
object.
tells me that you're avoiding that argument because you know where I'll go next with it. So like
I'm not avoiding anything. I don't have the machine here. I don't have the book that would require the machine.
Machine that measures what?
The cell. The
cell.
The zygote itself.
What in the cell?
The makeup of the entire organism.
Okay, so what would this machine find that makes this zygote a human? Because you have done a very poor job of explaining it.
Makeup. The makeup of the item. I don't know how else to describe that. That's about as clear as I could get it.
Okay, well then you need to be more clear. You need to work on this argument, because I still don't know what constitutes a human. What if I have a skin cell? Is that a human?
So if the cell makeup was different and it was a cat zygote, it would come up as a cat.
Okay, okay, great. Let's stick with that. What's the difference?
One's a human, one's a cat.
But what's the specific difference? You're just naming things.
I mean, that's the difference. One's a human, one's a cat.
Okay, but be specific. You came
to
me.
Specific as I
Hold on, I want to point something out. You came to me saying that my arguments are poor. So what's the deal? Why are you saying that one's a cat and one's a human, and that's the difference, and not breaking it down further? That's insane.
I am not a biotech lab employee. I have not.
But you
got to
know at least something.
Further depth.
There's got to be at least one distinguishing characteristic between a human cell and a cat cell that you can point out to me.
But this is like when the flat earthers ask me that I'm not. Yeah, but this is like when the flat earthers try to go, I'm not a geologist, therefore Earth flat. That's basically what's happening here. I'm not a biotech lab guy, so I'm not going to be able to describe any further than...
Why are you comparing yourself to a flat earther?
No,
that's exactly the point.
Argument.
Wait, that's exactly the point. Like, if I were to argue with a flat earther, yes, you're right. I would ask a similar question probably, and they'd give me a similar answer, and that's not a good thing.
Well, no, I'm saying the flat earthers, when I try to tell them the Earth is round, they'll say, are you a geologist? Do you know about the Western Hemisphere? You don't know everything about the Western Hemisphere. You have to know everything about the Western Hemisphere. Therefore, you can't say the globe's round.
If it's okay, by the way, if you can't tell me what makes a human cell different from a cat cell, that's not...
the makeup. It's the makeup. That's the difference. The makeup of the cells
but you can't tell me
that
what
organism.
This makeup is what you're specifically
You would have to do your
to.
own research on that.
Okay. But it's okay if you can't tell me that, though, but then you have to make a reference to somebody who can and say, I trust this person, and then tell me why you trust them. Like, you have to end these arguments. Okay, so the CDC, let's go with them. So they say that a zygote is a human? Is that true?
Yes, that is on the website.
Okay, let's look it up.
But my question here is why are we getting so hard into the science denial? Like, why do I always land up in these positions where I tell them this is how it is. We've known this for a long time. This isn't new information, right? This isn't like it was discovered yesterday that conception was where life begins, right? This isn't anything new. This has been around for a long ass time.
The CDC says a zygote is a fertilized egg before it begins to divide. Where in there does it say it's a human?
You would just want me to Google?
Sure.
Also, beware, top result of Google, not always your. I watch Destiny.
That's literally from the CDC website.
Actually, we should look up the makeup. I would like to know that.
Sure.
Right there, zygote. The cell results from the union of an oocyte and a sperm. A zygote is the beginning of a new human being, i.e. an embryo. The expression fertilized ovum refers to a secondary oocyte that is impregnated by the sperm when fertilization is complete. The oocyte becomes a zygote. And that is from Princeton University. That is the top result. And then there's a ton of other questions from Cora, Stack Exchange, National Institutes of Health, Facts and Doubts about the beginning of life.
Yeah, link me that. Okay.
Yeah. There's a ton of information here. It would take obviously too long to go over all.
That's fine. Just send me the one that just send me the one that says human being. I want to see it. I want to see.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
Giving me the business. Hold on.
I don't deny that it is a genetically it's genetically a human being, but it's genetically a human being in the same way that like a skin cell is. You know, they all have the same genetics. So like you can say.
we'll have to get past the science thing to go ahead and read into it. It's fine. I understand a lot of people will not accept that it is a human, but it is. I swear to God, that is the science behind it.
Biologically again, I keep stressing this. Biologically, you're correct, but we always conflate human with person. And colloquially, that's fine. It usually doesn't result in
I understand
problems.
actually what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I don't like the word people either, because I always hear people. Basically, when you say people, somebody can hear you say that, and some people will just immediately take it uncharitably, like those people. And then someone will hear what you're saying and be like, "Oh, you're just talking about people. Why are you getting so mad?" You know what I mean? Which is why I say human. When I say human, it includes everybody, and there's no negative connotation attached to human. That's why if you hear me say it, that's why I'm saying. It's because we all, and the argument of the whole thing is, should humans have the right to human life? And it's a yes or a no. And if you say no, then you open that Pandora's box where a lot of bad stuff can happen. And I'm going to get into some of the 1.1 million abortions that aren't due to rape.
But you say that's bad. I don't think that is. I mean, it's bad in the sense that, like, I don't like abortion in general.
Let's go to the beginning. Let's go to the beginning.
I say, so the reason that we say it's bad is different. But go ahead, go to the beginning.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's okay. It's okay for us to disagree. The beginning of abortion, right? Who started it? Who was who was Cain? You know who Cain the vampire is?
I assume the first abortion was before we were even humans. Like.
Well,
what do you mean?
Well, that would be hard to do. I don't know how you would abort humans before they existed.
You stick a coat back then a stick, I guess. Just stick it up there.
Oh, back then, dude, back in the barbarian days, man, the Aztecs would have ripped your head off. You know what I mean? There was barbarians, Vikings. They would do some crazy shit, I'm sure. But the beginning, where was Cain? Is the first vampire who bit all the other vampires, and then those vampires have perpetually less power in the lore. And if you kill Cain, you actually free all the other vampires from their curse. But it's just been too long, and good luck finding Cain. Who was the Cain of abortion? Where did it come from? Who was the first person that championed?
Again, I don't know. Abortion as a concept has been around as long as birth has been around.
Well, Planned Parenthood. Who started Planned Parenthood?
Wait, do you think Planned Parenthood invented abortion?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying where did this whole pushing for it, big time, start? The big push where it got big.
You got it backwards, man. The big push for anti-abortion procedures started in the 1900s when we discovered that how pregnancy works. So, that's really where that came up. Before that, the founding fathers and shit.
But at some point, it became
nobody cared about
funded.
abortion. Well, I think that all healthcare should be government funded. I don't see the problem.
Well, that's a totally separate conversation.
You're right.
I won't get into that. It's not. We'll just get too off track. But I'm saying, do you know who Margaret Sanger is?
I've heard of them. I should know them,
but
I don't.
Dude, even Wikipedia could not wash her and make her look good, because she pushed to put Planned Parenthoods by the most populated black areas, right? And her words, to genocide the blacks through abortion. That was her goal.
Okay.
And we can still see that to this day, because racial minorities and people in those districts have more abortions.
So then force black women who are pregnant to give birth instead of giving them the choice. Yes.
Well, the idea here is that it affects different amounts of people. So,
but there's nothing wrong with putting in I understand that her purpose may not have been good.
Her purpose was not good. That's what I'm saying.
But the end result is still the same. You have an abortion clinic.
Well, no, I'm trying to explain Pandora's box. Is that happens, right? That's a bad thing out of the box. And then what else happens? Now the government's paying $557 million worth of taxpayer money to support this, which could go towards
I think that's
taking
fine.
care of them.
I think that's fine. And also,
but why not take that money and give it to them so that they can live?
Give it to who?
The people that are being aborted.
Wait, give it to the fetus? Give it to the mother? Well, maybe the mom wants an abortion. Have you ever considered that not everybody wants to carry a pregnancy for 9 months only to give birth to basically a watermelon? It's just not.
I understand that people are not responsible. I understand that people.
No, that's not what I said, man. Come on.
No. I know that's not what you said. But I'm saying that's the thing is we're trying to hand wave past the self-responsibility.
Yeah, because you can't legislate self-responsibility and take. You can't do that. Okay, every time you do that, you only make the problem worse.
You can push for more responsibility.
I agree. Guess how you do that? You have sex education. You tell people, hey, it's probably best to wait until, ideally,
absolutely,
you should wait until you're ready to have a kid, or get some kind of procedure done, which will make it so that you don't get pregnant, or use protection.
Yeah,
all three of those
totally
are true.
Agree.
So
we could take some of that money too.
But here's the thing: if you don't do that, or you mess up somehow, we have a failsafe. It's called abortion. So congratulations. You don't have to
But it's-
carry. You don't have to go through 9 months of miserable hell
But we're
in
getting,
order
this is the
to
thing,
pop
is
out a baby
we're-
that you didn't want anyway.
But then we get back to the drunk driver. Should we let that guy go free? It would
The
ruin his
first,
life.
again, the first priority is getting him off the road. If we can educate, if we could get a guarantee, not from that guy, just like a general, like I know for a fact that this guy will never drive drunk again. I can predict the future, right? I can predict the future, and so in that case, I wouldn't care. Yeah, let him go free. It doesn't matter. He's now off the road. Everyone's safe, and he will never do it again. Yes, that's fine.
But the problem here is then, and then the next person who's drunk will be like, oh, they let the last guy go for free. I'll just hop right in. The problem is
that, but that doesn't happen, man. Like that, we don't have
people
any.
drive drunk all the time.
No, I understand that, but this idea that like, oh, abortion's cool now.
But
it's in
people
fashion.
are worried about driving drunk and actually don't drive drunk, and they have those programs where they're like, I'm the driver. These are my friends who will be drunk. That happened because we arrest people like that. There is a deterrent in place so that the solutions will crop up to avoid the deterrent. The responsibility, it's a responsibility issue. There is responsibility attached to getting into that car drunk. There's responsibility into taking risk when you have sex, and there are consequences to that. And we're trying to make all these.
And they should be educated about that.
And people hate. I agree. I agree with that one. The education one also, by the way, is part of the problem. And I can tell you one other thing too: is there was a pregnancy center by one of the schools here. It is larger, right? It started small, and it's a high school. It is bigger than the entire auditorium now.
Okay.
What does that tell you? It's like. Remember when McDonald's or Taco Bell?
Wait, hold on, stop. Stop 1 second. Let's stick on that. Why are you telling me that? I don't care.
Well, it's just because it's obviously a problem.
What's the problem that you see with that?
They're being irresponsible. They're just
so then they should have more education, yes?
Correct. No, I agree. That's why I'm agreeing with you. This is all an agreement, Army. We're not disagreeing.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay,
but I'm saying that
sorry.
but it got bigger. And I'm hoping that the education there would be greater, but I don't know if it is. The public school system hasn't been doing.
Well, I got news for you. The same people who want to outlaw abortion also want to outlaw sex education. So like, I don't.
Dude, yeah, those people, I don't like them either.
I know
don't like,
that you don't.
That's a total. They're totally throwing a bola at their own shins. And
okay,
they don't
so
even
then
know it.
let me ask you this: you have a choice. You can pick. We're going to improve sex education and improve access to protection, and we're going to still allow abortions. Or you can pick to get rid of all of it.
Well,
which one do you pick?
I'm for human. Well, that's a false dichotomy. I'm for.
Wait, no, that's not a false dichotomy, man. Stop using these buzzwords. That is a comparison. That is a comparison. So which one do you pick?
You don't have to have one or the other. You could have.
I'm not okay. This is a hypothetical, man. This is a hypothetical to test.
It's a false dichotomy.
No, it's not.
That's the problem.
Okay, Mr. Debate Man, let me explain something to you. This is a comparison. This is something that I am doing. The reason that let me explain the purpose of this question. The purpose of this question is to test how much you value sex education and protection. Stop. Let me finish. How much you value sex education and protection versus how much you value getting rid of abortion. Which one do you value more?
That is a better question. That is not a false dichotomy. That's a legit question.
That is literally what I asked. Now continue.
But it was framed as a false dichotomy.
Sure, fine.
That's the problem. I value the rights to human life so that nobody can violate that and screw a particular group of people later, change the law when they're in power and be like, we don't like these people. These people don't have these rights anymore, and these people do. That's why I would want all the humans to have rights to life.
And therefore, given the choice, you would forego protection and education in favor of getting rid of abortion. Yes?
That is the false dichotomy.
No, that's the choice. When I asked you, no, you value getting rid of abortion more than you value instilling education and sex protection. That is what you are telling me. That's literally what I know. Stop.
Would need both.
Stop. I know you want both, but it's a matter of which one you want more. Okay, because you're siding with the people. You're siding with the people who want to ditch all three. That's who you're siding with.
No, I don't side with the people.
Yes, you do. Every time. Okay.
No, I don't.
When you vote,
those people are stupid.
Do you live in the United States?
Yes.
Do you vote?
I honestly do, but I line up voting for candidates no one's ever heard of.
Okay, fine. But
sorry, they're great candidates. There's just no one knows who they are because they aren't on TV saying goofy shit.
Then let me ask you it this way: when a Republican wins, they outlaw abortion, and then on top of that, they also outlaw sex education and protection for people. Yeah, I know you don't agree. I know we've established that you like sex education and protection. You like those things, but do you think that is a worthwhile trade-off? Yes or no?
It's a double-edged sword, is what it is.
It is, but I'm asking you: is it better than it was before?
Actually, I would say no, because by not getting the human rights to life, they could outlaw. The problem is outlawing it somewhere doesn't. I want the right. I want those rights that protect everybody. That's what I'm after. I don't care about anything else. Once you have those rights protected, you're good. Everything else after that will be thumbs up. It'll help the economy as well.
Do I have the right to remove something from my body if I do not want it to be there? Is that a right that you're granting me?
But did you put it there? Did you do something that put it there?
I put the leech there.
Responsibility.
I put the leech there.
But it's not a leech. Again, that's a sleight of hand.
No, but this is that's not a sleight of hand. This is my comparison. No, it's not. Stop.
It absolutely is.
No, this is a direct consequence of what you're telling me. This is the logic.
But you could just change the leech with a grizzly bear. Why not?
What? Wait, what?
Why not change the leech with a hungry grizzly bear?
Okay, let's say I let a grizzly bear into my house because I thought it'd be fun. Am I allowed to get rid of it?
Well, yeah, at that point, yeah. Why would you do that?
Why would I
you
do
put
that?
The grizzly bear there.
I don't know. Somebody told me that it'd be fun, so I did it. Am I allowed to get it out of my house?
That's some Paul Bunyan shit right there.
Am I allowed to get it out of my house, or do I have to take responsibility?
You will have to reap the consequences of trying to having to get the bear out of your house.
Do I have the right then to call animal control? Use government funding and resources and manpower to get this bear out of my house. Do I have that right? After I put the bear in?
I mean, that's a privilege. They do it for you. It's a program. Also, it's funny you mentioned that.
Okay, but do you believe that I should be able to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. You should be able to get the bear out of there.
You're acknowledging, even though I put the bear in my own house and it's my fault, I'm still allowed to call animal control and take funding, manpower, resources to remove that bear. Now, obviously, I'm going to, it's a bear. It's not an exact comparison. So I'm going to incur some other consequences for endangering people. But at the same time, you're acknowledging the basic fact that even though I'm the person who did that, I am allowed to rectify it by removing the bear. Yes?
But where's the sleight of hand?
What do you mean, where's the sleight of hand? You're the one who brought up the bear.
Did the bear create another human when you put it in your house?
This is not what this is about. This is about another human attaching itself to another human.
There it is.
What are you talking about?
No, keep going. It's okay.
A human attaches itself to another human and begins feeding off of it. And you
I
attached the baby to myself.
Jumped onto you.
I attached the baby to myself. I purposefully said, let's say I have a uterus and I want to get pregnant, okay? And then I decide, okay, I no longer want to be pregnant. I don't like this. Do I have the right to remove that fetus?
No.
But I do have the right.
You reap the consequences.
I also made the decision in the case of the bear and the leech. In the case of both the bear and the leech, I made the decision to put it there. And you're saying that I have the right to take it off. So what's the difference?
The bear did not create, and the leech don't create another human life that you put there. You created that. You did that. You took the risk. You take the consequences. Now, if you put the bear in your house, yes, you'll have to reap the consequences of the bear eating you, and then hopefully get out of your house. I don't know why you do that, but these are just bad comparisons. No, the problem is the bear doesn't create another human life. The leech doesn't create another human. That leech doesn't have any rights. I mean, you could argue for leech rights. That's a totally different conversation. I don't think they should have rights because they're leeches.
Okay, let's say
the bears do have some rights, by the way. You can't just walk up and take a shovel and hit the bear.
Okay, I knock you out. You wake up and you're hooked up by wires to another human being, and I tell you that they can only survive if I keep you hooked up for 9 months. Do you have the right to disconnect those wires?
Who put me there?
Okay, let's say that you do it yourself because you want to help this person.
So I attach myself to someone else.
You attach yourself to somebody else.
Did they attach to me?
You attach yourself to somebody else and say, yes, I'm committing to this 9 months of keeping this person alive, and it's the only way to save them. Literally the only way to save them. Do you have the right to remove yourself, thus killing that person?
No, because I already told them I was doing this.
Okay, but what if it's discovered now that some kind of complication comes up and you're going to die in the process of saving this person?
There was inherent risk of me attaching someone to that. I mean,
so
I think I'd be aware of that.
So then you're forfeiting your life knowing that...
That's like skydiving and one being like, man, if the parachute doesn't open, I'll die. Yeah, that's part of skydiving, buddy.
See, I just don't agree. I think that even in that case,
but we're
I have the right...
cherry-picking the risk again. Is that...
No, we're not. This is literally what happens in pregnancy.
You keep saying that, but it obviously doesn't if we just look up the statistics. It's so rare. It's asterisk because there isn't even a number. It's like
those people still matter. It's still a lot of people. Like,
those people do the small even if it happens once. I agree. It does matter. I'm not disputing that. It's a terrible thing. But it just...
So you have to weigh that. You have to take that in consideration when making your choice. You are valuing fetuses over humans. Like living people.
They are humans.
Living people. You are born people, okay? You're valuing fetuses over born people because you are giving them rights that you would not give to other people.
Yeah, some people value people who have been born more than people who haven't been. But the problem is then we run into the survivors of abortion and children of rape. If you ask them, they were people who were going to be aborted or actually did get aborted and fucking lived, right? Because there are protections against people who are aborted and actually don't die and survive the abortion, and then they're born and then they fight for the rights not for others not to be killed. You would have to talk to them. I can't make that argument for them, but once I heard them talk, once I heard them tell me not to kill them,
man. Those people, if they had been aborted,
there it is. We don't care about their rights. We don't care about this particular group of people's rights that we don't like, and that's the Pandora's box.
What I'm saying is, I care about their rights now that they're alive, and I consider them alive. All right, babies who are born as a result of that have human rights, and I believe in their humanity because they've been born. Okay. But I don't believe in that for a zygote.
The trick is,
those people are no longer zygotes. They're not little itty bitty,
but the trick is to make that decision for them, because that's a decision you would make, and to violate their rights to live their 14
They didn't exist yet. Guess what? If his dad had thrust just one more time, he would not have existed the way that he does now. Do you understand that?
There is inherent risk to that action, and there is responsibility that.
Did his dad kill that other? Okay, did his dad kill 1 million sperm that did not impregnate that woman? Did he kill 1 million people by doing that?
No, because we haven't reached the point of conception.
Okay, why do you consider conception that point? What's so special about it?
Because that is the scientific definition for when human life begins.
But why do you care? There's a lot of scientific definitions for a lot of things.
Why do I care about scientific definitions? Man, I don't know.
No, but where does this lead into your morality? Why do I care that it's a scientific definition? The scientific definition...
I care more about protecting humans' rights. I think that's the most important.
And you're
but I'm looking at the high resolution. It's peel all the way back. Just peel your mind all the way back. What is best for the humans? Well, low resolution take is thing bad, other group bad, whatever, right? Like that. You see that all the time on YouTube. Okay. I'm trying to pull I'm talking about the argument. I'm not talking about you. I respect your opinions. I'm not here to sweep you at the ankles. I'm just here to try to expose those arguments that are made bad. And a lot of people don't know they're bad arguments from the starting point. And they need to formulate the questions in a way that, because the problem is you'll just repeating yourself. People can make those the paradox, right? You can just make an infinite amount of the similar arguments, and you land up talking in circles forever, and it lands up leading. You could just bleed that into a flat earther argument. You could bleed it into an antinatal. You could bleed it into Bigfoot arguments, right? And I'm trying to attack that. And I'm trying to also all the humans trying to protect their rights, right? And sometimes bad stuff is just going to happen.
But when you just still haven't convinced me that a fetus is a person.
That's not up to me, though. That's up to you to do the research and the science. I can link you. I will link you to all of them.
But you're trying to convince me, so convince me. I mean, do you want me to be convinced?
I don't know if I can. It doesn't matter how. I mean, think about it, right? Like I literally sat there with the flat earthers. I'm like, here's a picture of the Earth. Here it is. Here's every geologist, and they're just like, nope. And that's it. They're done.
I just don't think you did a good enough job of convincing me. Like
it may be impossible because you've already bought into things that aren't true.
But I've explained my position, and I think it's pretty sound.
I understand. No, that's the problem. I'm trying to be very nice. I'm not trying to be mean. By the way, I loved your Robotnik costume. By the way, when I first saw you, I fucking thought, dude, this guy. I'm not kidding. I was like, this guy should totally do a Robotnik. And then I saw the one where you. I was like, oh shit, he did it.
Well, thank you.
And I like the Kirby hat too. I have a very similar Kirby hat. But,
thank you, but
but I'm trying to attack the argument. Is that people think it's YouTube. It's really YouTube that has done this to people. Is that they see somebody, right? Hassan, Vosh, all these big, and they're getting a lot of clicks, they're getting a lot of views, they're making a lot of money, and then they'll say something that isn't true and is wrong and has a bad starting point, and other people, right, will copy them because humans are very monkey see, monkey do. I used to coach a game called League of Legends. Trust me, I would just have to break bad habits in the game all the time. Poker, same thing, right? And poker's where I learned people are very bad at evaluating risk. That's like an inherent human thing. We're terrible at it. You have to really train yourself to evaluate risk correctly. It is like an inherent human flaw. And so what lands up happening is we get into all these terrible arguments that have all these bad, and we start talking past each other, right? And we start getting into this enemy team bad. We start strawmanning the crap out of them. Oh, there's these evil people who just want to eat the babies, and they want to take a mallet and just smash puppies, and it gets ridiculous. It gets to like a cartoonish level, and if we just started making logical, scientifically accurate arguments, right, and you started actually talking about the bigger picture things, the things that are benefiting, what benefits the humans, all of us the most.
I think abortion benefits us the most.
but there's a ton of data. I mean, you're literally gatekeeping human life. You're giving someone power to
gatekeeping human life by choosing where I masturbate. Like that's a million and plus
you can still do that. That's not killing them. You can do that all you want.
But you say it's not killing them, but you haven't convinced me that. So your argument is that
because the science doesn't convince you, I can't do anything about that.
But you haven't used science to convince me. I mean, you tried.
Because you haven't done any of the research previous to any of this. I can link you. I will link you to all of it.
What research though? Like I'm just so confused because like if I come in a sock.
Sorry. Someone here needs help. Hold on. Sorry, okay. I'm still at work technically. Sorry.
You're fine. Still at work. How are we doing, chat? Play too much CS:GO. We outnumber the fetuses. We could take them.
True! I told them I'd be busy for a minute, but they're still working out there. Every once in a while, something will break, though. Okay, one of the laptops exploded this morning.
But, like, okay, your argument is that people who were conceived as a result of rape now exist, and they're pro-life. So why should I care about that?
See, there's the Pandora's box. We now have a class of people.
You keep saying Pandora's box. Just explain.
Yeah, they don't have rights. And
yes, they do.
That's the problem.
Because they're people now. Because my qualification for being a person is being a human who has been born. No, I'm not. A human who has been born. Okay, if they had been aborted, they'd be dead and gone, okay? That's how that works. Because they were born, they're now people. And they have rights. That is pretty consistent, I feel like. I just don't understand why I'm wrong. Or why you think I'm wrong.
Because you are inviting people to come in there and stop them. Before they
because
rights.
It's the same way if I stop people mid-sex. If I stop somebody mid-sex and say no, and they have sex the next night, did I kill somebody? Yes or no?
You're making a purge argument. Let's say murder was available.
I don't know what a purge argument is, and I don't care. Yes or no? Did I kill somebody by stopping them from having sex and conceiving? Yes or no?
Did you no?
Why not? Because it's exactly the same. What do you mean a time travel argument?
Because if it doesn't happen,
why can I not say exactly? Why can I not say you're making a time travel argument? What if those people had been aborted?
I haven't.
They would. Guess what? They wouldn't be around to do their stupid song and dance for conservative politicians. Okay.
So the problem here is that we still have to agree: should humans have rights to life? Protected from when they're made to when they die? Or should there be a specific, like a Thursdays people don't have rights? Should it be before they're born, which is what you're saying?
I don't think that a zygote deserves human rights any more than a skin cell deserves human rights.
Then I'm just telling you, then you are inviting bad actors and people grabbing for power and people who don't like a particular group of people to come in there and try to kill them before they exist. How? That's what you're inviting in.
Well,
wait, if they have to see that those people don't have rights, and they're going to come in there and pass laws against them.
If you're forcing somebody into an abortion, is that your argument? Like, I disagree with that. Obviously, that's
Margaret Sanger is the one who first did that. She was the first person who targeted specific groups of people that she didn't like to try to kill them before they were born.
And she could have had bad intentions in doing that, but the outcome's still the same. Those people now have access to an abortion clinic, and that's good. Because they have the choice. If you're pinning them down and forcing an abortion on them, then yeah, of course that's bad. It's their choice.
Well, no, the idea here is that in New York at one point, not even kidding, if you look at the data, when a black person would get pregnant, a black woman, she was more likely to go to the abortion clinic than have the baby.
Okay.
There are a domino effect of bad things that happened.
What does that tell you?
That people are being irresponsible?
That's all you get from that?
I mean, if you did that and
so does that happen? Does that happen more often with black women?
Yeah, statistically, yes.
Okay, so you're saying so your argument then is that black women are inherently more irresponsible than white women. Is that true?
With coming to that, they choose abortion more. That's what they choose.
Yes, so your argument is that black women are inherently more irresponsible than white women. Is that true?
I don't know if they're all being irresponsible, but they are choosing that.
Yes, so you're saying there's something inherent to being a black woman as opposed to a white woman that makes them more irresponsible.
No. I'm saying they were targeted a long time ago, and that has led to this.
They were targeted. So because an abortion clinic was built there, they're more likely to. Black women are more likely to get an abortion. Okay,
yes,
so
that's what I'm saying.
So your argument is building an abortion clinic in itself.
I want there to be more of them, not less.
More abortion clinics,
and I want more humans.
Okay, why do you care about how many humans there are?
Because it's okay. So
you're not going to meet the vast majority of them. Why does it matter?
They all matter to me.
I know they all. No, I'm saying
because they are me.
But you're already saying that like people who don't exist yet, you want them to exist, and it's just
no.
like
If they're conceived, I want them to have their rights protected.
But why not? Why not when my balls drop? Why not start
because
there?
Because it hasn't been conceived. That is
okay,
not
but that's
science.
arbitrary. You understand that's arbitrary, yes?
Science is not arbitrary.
No,
unless
science.
You decide that
you still have not explained to me why conception is the point for you that you deem life worthy of protecting.
Because that's when the cells come together, and that's when it becomes a human. But
you haven't explained how that when I asked you what makes it a human, as opposed to like a cat embryo,
we're making I'm not a geologist, therefore the Earth is flat argument. Yeah, I'm not a geologist. So
but you still have to explain what makes it a human. You're the one in this debate.
No, that is a shifting of the burden proof. You need to do the research so that you know.
I've already explained why it's not. Why I don't care.
But you've chosen a position without doing the research.
No, again. By the way, I'm a biologist and a nurse. But even if I did consider it a human, I still don't think it has the right to attach itself. And you're saying, yeah, blah blah blah. The woman put it there. Okay, well then abortion should be allowed in cases of yes.
I would say if I would concede you that ground, because it's so extreme and it's basically it just happens so infrequently that I would literally give you that if I could get the human rights.
Okay, so you're saying that people are allowed to get an abortion in cases of yes?
It is a cursed problem though, because if you allow those people to do that, right, you still violate the human rights to life, right? It's cursed. There's nothing you can do about it.
But literally, your argument is a person was involved in putting that fetus there, and they're like the people involved in doing that either made a mistake or did it on purpose or whatever.
In that extreme cherry-picked example,
you can say it's extreme, but it happens. So, do you allow abortions in those cases?
I would give the ground for that if I could save the other 1.1 million people per year. I think that's a huge gain. So I would totally compromise there.
Okay, so you think that should you say you would compromise, but what if you couldn't? Do you still think she should get the abortion?
And I don't save anybody?
Yes.
I save nobody? Well, then I wouldn't be able to save her either, right?
You saved that woman from 9 months of hell.
Everyone loses.
You saved that woman from 9 months of hell carrying a baby she doesn't want that was forced upon her by some disgusting freak.
Yeah, but there's that. The 9.99% of those, that's not the case. That's the problem. Is
I don't
people
care.
Are using it. And see, there we go. That
doesn't care.
Matter to you, really.
It still happens. So when I weigh it out in my mind, I can't bring myself to care about fetuses and their lives more than I care about rape
victims. There's a class of people
because that happens
that we don't care about. That's the problem.
They don't think. They don't even care about themselves. They're not alive.
You know what's really weird?
Like not alive. Like they are. Think about it. They're living.
Hold on one second. What do these arguments
sound
like? What do these arguments sound like?
I don't know. Tell me. Am I a Nazi? Am I?
No,
KKK?
no. I'm not trying to call it. No.
Okay.
I'm not targeting you. I'm targeting the argument. They sound like pro-slavery argument.
See, there it is. And I no.
But they're identical. They're not really people.
Let me tell you something.
It's not your slave.
You, my friend, by bringing that up, are denigrating the how serious slavery was. Okay, slavery is nothing like
it was terrible.
Yes, and it's nothing like abortion. Abortion is a voluntary procedure.
Are literally being made to push that.
Okay, you could say the same thing about exterminating lice, dude. Okay, like
those arguments.
Exactly. So
they don't have rights.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. So no, you have a woman who is or whoever has a uterus.
Do you want humans to have the same rights as lice? Is that what we're arguing?
I don't want skin cells to have the same rights as humans.
The problem is skin cells is a scientifically inaccurate representation of a zygote.
A zygote is closer to a skin cell.
Do you notice we always have to call it something else?
Because calling it yes, exactly, because that's how human language works. Because I have to make comparisons to make this
the sleight of hand to get to the.
It's not a sleight of hand, man.
It's just mental
gymnastics. No, it's not. I literally do not have a single.
And nobody has called you out yet. I'm the first person, probably.
You're right, buddy. Good job. You really did it.
I'm not. I'm trying to say though that. And I understand you can keep the position. I'm not trying to change it I am trying to improve the argumentation. I wish I could just improve the argumentation. If I get that far, I've done great.
I think
I'm not trying to change your position because a lot of people are very, very in the sunken cost fallacy where they've been in a position so long, or maybe they have 300,000 YouTube subscribers. And if imagine tomorrow Hassan comes out and he's like the biggest conservative possible, what would happen to that guy? They throw him under so many buses you'd never see him again.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, but that's the thing is people get married to these positions, and if the science changes, they're screwed. You know what I mean?
What science could change that would screw me on abortion?
I mean, that already happened a long time ago.
How?
It's been the science.
What science changed?
We just haven't looked it up.
What science changed that screwed me on abortion? Because I'm married to this idea, right?
Well, because we already know where human life begins. We already know this. There is a mean,
but you still have not explained what makes it a human. You can't do that.
Because that's the geologist argument for the flat earthers use. I'm not a geologist.
But you don't even yourself know why a zygote's a human. You can't explain it, man.
Back to yourself. You have
no,
to do your own
the burden's
there.
on you to explain why it's a human.
No.
I told you why I don't think it is.
I
told you why I don't think it's a person.
I told you, but you don't want to accept it. It's when the two cells meet and they make a human zygote. I
but
told you, but you just don't accept that.
But
you
if that's the end of it, that's like saying, okay,
Correct.
why do I consider this this string a shoelace? Gee, I don't know.
Because there's a sleight of hand again. Now it's a string. Now it's a shoelace. Now it's a bear. Now it's a leash.
That's
now
not
it's Taco Bell. Yes, you can sleight of hand anything and make it not the thing it was.
Comparisons. No, you're just upset that you're losing, dude. I'm sorry. That's all it is. And you're trying to call it things that
and now,
it's not.
now I'm being strawman is apparently losing a thing
Yes,
where we're
strawman,
trying to talk about the
and
argumentation.
actually, I'm leading the horse to water, and I'm making.
I'm just the first person to call these out.
And I'm steelmanning your arguments, and I'm actually.
The problem is
what's another
we are
term
upset that we're
give me another debate bro term. This is fun. I'm also.
I'm trying to
chat,
inform. I don't care about the debate bro stuff. I hate that stuff.
Yes, you clearly do, because you've used like so many debate bro normalisms or
no.
words.
These are forms of arguments that are just formed like in an English class. Like I don't know how else to put that. Like you use a semicolon, you say however, and then use a comma.
You can't just say, well, that's a fallacy. You can't just say, well, that's a fallacy, and then drop the mic. You can't do that. Like,
yeah, yes, that's how it works. If somebody busts out a fallacy, you call
just
them
made
on
a fallacy.
it, and that's what's not happening.
You just made a fallacy.
Which one?
The one that I said.
Okay, and it's called?
It's called Alex fallacy.
So the problem is here we don't know. That's why I said in the comment I originally linked you. I gave you.
I win.
No, I gave you a
You made a fallacy. It's over. Sorry.
We're getting really defensive here. You don't need to be this defensive. I gave you a link to the website. Your fallacy is and your bias is. You just need to check those out. You don't have to check anymore.
That was written by one doctor, and I'm fairly sure that she's pro-life. So I just like if you want, like, I don't agree with her stances.
I'm not exactly pro-choice or pro-life. I'm pro-human right.
Dude,
to protect all
you're
the humans.
anti-abortion, is what you are.
But by dint, yes.
Yeah, so I call that forced birther.
Yeah, but that's a nonsense term.
No, it's not. That is exactly what you're doing. If somebody's if a woman comes to you who's pregnant, let's make it a 12-year-old, because you know what, that really happened. 12-year-old comes up to you. 12-year-old comes up to you.
But by calling someone a forced birther is sleight of hand on the responsibility aspect.
Oh, you can call it whatever you want. I don't care.
I'm a forced responsibility person. I think people should take responsibility. Yes. For actions
okay, so then they shouldn't get
in.
treated for STDs, because that's a lot of money and manpower.
It's like calling somebody who makes a crime and then calling someone who wants to arrest them a forced arrestor.
Okay, but I chose to have sex, so if I get an STD, why should people waste time treating it?
Because it's a solvable problem.
So is pregnancy. So is pregnancy.
But the STD isn't a human life. We keep doing this. We're
always going to come back to, is this a human life or not? Because you still have not convinced me, and you can't, because you yourself don't even know why a zygote is a human.
But let's say I just didn't know that. Could you look that up somewhere and find out for sure that wasn't me? I already have. Yes.
Yeah, you did, and all you pulled up was one doctor from Princeton University saying a zygote is a human being.
Let me scroll down to the bottom of Google. How many pages are here? Hold on,
that is not a satisfactory answer, no matter who tells me that. Albert Einstein could tell me that, and I would still be like, okay, what makes it a human being, though? What can I look at in a zygote and measure that tells me this is a human being? You still have not been able to do that.
So your argument is you don't like that the way it's defined.
No, my argument is that you have not explained why you consider the meeting of a sperm and an egg
defining something doesn't change reality.
To be the point at which a human being deserves rights. You have not explained that.
So Because I can't
keep
define
using
something.
fallacies. You keep saying like, well, this is you. In fact, I would argue you're making a slippery slope fallacy because you keep saying, well, this is going to lead to other people losing their rights, and you know, like this is just a bad can of worms we're going to open, or something to that effect.
But those
so
are
you
all
made
things
a slippery
we can object.
slope. As long as we're talking about fallacies.
No, a slippery slope is when you can't explain those things. I can explain those things. I already have. I've explained. We already know the government gives $557 million to Planned Parenthood. We already know that there's 1.1 million abortions a year. All those are objectable things you can just look up. They're
Planned
true.
Parenthood does
I
a
haven't
lot of
stated
things
anything
besides
that
abortion.
isn't happening.
Planned Parenthood
A slippery slope would be like if I tried to make the claim the Earth will be destroyed and catch fire. Like how would that happen, right? Like I'd have to chain that together somehow, and that would require some mental gymnastics.
Well, no, that's not a slippery slope, dude. A slippery slope is when I say, like, for instance, okay, if we legalize gay marriage, then people are going to start marrying horses. My dad loved that one when I was growing up.
That's a slippery slope. Exactly.
Yes. So that would be what that is. So what you're saying is, okay, well, if we allow abortion to happen, then that's going to lead to other humans' rights. Like the category of fetus that you consider a human being category that deserves rights, violating their rights is going to lead to the violation of other human beings' rights, like what happened with slavery. That is a slippery slope fallacy.
No, it's not. Because we've already seen it in history.
Yes, it is.
No, anytime somebody can
abortion
oppress we can see it today.
Hold on. Abortion did not lead to slavery, my dude. I'm sorry to break it to you. Slavery.
I never made that argument, so
yes,
we don't got to worry about that one.
You just did, because I said.
No, I said the argument.
You can retract it if you want, but I said.
But I didn't say that. It's a total straw man.
No, it's not. It's point A to point B. Okay.
No, it's not.
If I say if we allow gay people to get married, then people will start marrying horses. That's slippery slope because I cannot draw the lines between those two connecting.
That is a slippery slope. I totally
You're not
agree.
drawing the lines between how abortion leads to slavery.
I never said that. I said the arguments that are being made are the same. That's all I said. The arguments are the same. You could just change fetus with slave. That isn't your slave.
Okay, but fetuses
Why
aren't
do you
people,
care?
so I don't care.
Why do you care what I do with my slave? It's my slave. I can kill it.
But fetuses aren't people. Yeah, why do you care what I do with my fetus? Exactly.
It's basically the same argumentation. A group of people we don't like that are treated less than humans, and now you can abuse them and treat them however you want. And that's the danger. That's the danger I'm trying to get around is people should have those rights, and there should be a class of people a particular group doesn't like that they can just kill.
But you need to explain to me why they're people. I just don't. I don't get it. Like you keep saying it's because the egg and the sperm do the dance and then make the people. And
correct. The science. That is why the science.
Yeah, but that's biologically speaking. It now has human genetics and it will eventually become a human. But scientists are not the people saying fetuses deserve rights. In fact, they're the ones saying if we outlaw abortion, if you go look at if you want to talk about the science, all the scientists say if we outlaw abortion, that's going to lead to more injury and death for pregnant women. So I just don't understand why you keep invoking science when they're all against it.
I don't know where we got that anecdote from, but we'll pull that out of Hammer's face.
Anecdote? What anecdote are you talking about? Why do you keep pulling out these terms like they're Pokemon cards? You keep tossing them at me.
All the scientists
what was
I
the anecdote?
To said the opposite.
No, these are no. Go look at the OBGYN website. I can't remember what it's called. But I can find it real quick. There's literally websites with medical professionals who have researched this stuff and know if we outlaw abortion, more people will die. That is not a straw man, or sorry, that's not a whatever you called it. I can't remember. That's not that. That's literally.
Right now we're in the middle of an appeal to authority.
Okay, then disprove the authority.
Who are these scientists?
Find them.
But see, that's why I'm attacking the argumentation. Is if we could just not engage in those, we would have much more solid arguments. The problem is that by doing that, though, some people aren't going to like it because they're inevitably going to have to refute themselves.
You can't even explain why you believe that an egg meeting a sperm.
But we keep getting caught on that. But it's the same.
Being a human, and you keep saying, "Well, that's the scientific thing." What makes it a human specifically? What if it's so scientific? Then I should. If it's so scientific, Mr. Science Boy.
Yeah, fuck science.
I should. No. Hold on.
If
it's so scientific, you should be able to tell me what I can measure on a zygote that makes it a human, Mr. Science Boy. So go ahead. Explain to me what on a zygote makes it a human. What I can measure.
The entire makeup.
In fact, meaning what? Meaning what? No, you just told me a zygote's a zygote because it's a zygote. Meaning what?
No, I didn't say.
It's a circular argument, my friend. You're begging the question. What makes a zygote a human?
We're kind of gish-galloping me with a lot of just random stuff.
No, I'm not. What makes a zygote a human? That's not gish-galloping. That's a simple question. What makes a zygote a human?
Well, gish-galloping is when you throw a bunch of stuff at someone, which is too fast for them to refute.
What makes a zygote a human?
To basically smother them.
What makes a zygote a human?
The makeup of the zygote.
What makeup? What specifically?
Okay, so stuff is made up of stuff, right? Like cells.
I understand that. What specifically composes a zygote that I can measure and say, yes, this is human? What can I look at?
If you take a sample of it and you put it under a microscope, they will go, "This is a human."
Who? Based on what? Based on
the makeup
what?
In a lab.
They would do the same thing for skin cells.
The scientists that work in the lab.
They would do the same thing for skin cells. They would say,
now,
this is a human
think about it
skin
though.
cell.
If it was a cat, they would tell you this is a cat.
Based on what?
Based on the makeup of the cells.
What makeup?
Of the cells.
But of what? Cat cells and human cells, I'll have you know, are very similar. So what specifically differentiates them?
The problem is we're getting stuck on this, and I don't know how to get past it because
we're getting stuck on it because this is the root of your argument. You cannot prove to me that a zygote is a human being that deserves rights. You can't even distinguish between a human cell and a cat cell. So why should I listen to you?
But none of that. You can distinguish between a human.
Then tell me how. Then tell me how, or where I can go
did.
to find out how. No, you didn't.
There's
tell me where to go to find out how.
Link you.
Link me.
Correct. Yes.
Link me. Because the one you linked me was just a doctor's opinion.
Well, I mean, you're gonna get whoever wrote the information.
I understand that,
put
but
their name on it.
No, I understand that, but all they said was a zygote is a human being. That's not explaining.
Let me link this here. But again, I shouldn't have to be doing the research for you. This should have been already something you've looked up ahead of time
if you're making this is an argument you're making, so you're responsible.
Well, it's a shift of the burden of proof is what it is.
No, it's not. No, wait, you linked this again? Is this the same thing?
No. It's I linked you to Google. I'm just doing them all in order.
Okay. I mean,
it's a lot to read. I understand. No, I don't like reading a million things either. I understand.
The facts and doubts about the beginning of the human life and personality. Asim Kurjak and Anna Tripolo. What a piece of work is a man.
Beware, this one here has like a million sources, so.
Scientists have been remiss in failing to translate science into the terms that allow mankind to share. It should always be kept in mind. Amazing aspect of which part of this article should I be looking at? Definition of the life.
You're gonna have to, there's a lot of reading, unfortunately.
Proper answer. Well, we'll do it.
I don't think it'll be something we can read through the stream and take too long.
Well, let's see if we can do a little bit. How to define a human life is complicated nowadays. Well, I thought it was pretty simple, but hey, nowadays dilemmas consider the respect of human life from the birth to death, involving not just biology but other sciences also: philosophy, theology, psychology, sociology, law, and politics.
Oh,
wait, I thought you said it was just science. But now the source you're linking me is saying that we got to involve all these other things.
There's so much information there. There's a
lot.
That's why I warned
say
you.
that the life as such does not exist. No one has ever seen it. Should I listen to this scientist? The authors say that?
There's a lot of information.
When defining life, it should be considered not just life as it is today, but as it might have been in its primordial form and as it will be in the future. So we should consider the life of the ancestor bacteria that bred all of us into existence. That should be a human with human rights.
I want to point out something too, because you debated that other guy and that other. Remember the guy kept stuttering?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to point out with that guy. The problem with people like that is it's the show your homework problem that guy had, where you asked him to show his homework, couldn't show his homework. That guy had no idea how he got to that position.
You just showed me your homework, and it contradicts everything you've been telling me, just based off of the little bit that I read.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to start cherry picking.
It's not cherry picking, man. I literally opened it, read the first few sentences, and it says we need to consider more than just science when we talk about the personhood of a human, including philosophy, theology.
You're going to get opinions of all the scientists, and you're going to have to go through all of them. Unfortunately,
then why link that? Why link that? Why show me?
Because I gave you dissenting information. That's totally okay.
That's not dissenting information.
Unless it doesn't agree with what I said, that's totally okay to read that information and take that into account.
But then at that point, you're just throwing books at me. Like that don't mean anything.
Because you need to do the research in this before you take a position.
You need to do the research. If you don't come to a debate prepared to debate your points, if you can't tell me why a zygote is a human, then
I told you, but you just refuse to accept it. I can't stop you from doing that.
Okay, I know what you're going to say, but tell me again. We'll go through this one more time.
The 10th time. So when the cells come together, what do they make?
They make a zygote.
Which is? What kind?
What do you mean? What kind? It's a zygote.
What kind is zygote?
A human.
But
zygote,
it has a type. Like a creature in Magic the Gathering.
It's a human zygote.
There we go. That's it.
Okay, what about a human skin cell? Why is that not a human?
It's part of a human. It's a makeup.
Yes, but why is it not a human itself? It's
one like a wheel is on a car.
What's the difference between a human?
Car.
Okay, what's the difference between a skin cell and a zygote?
The skin cell is part of something.
The zygote's part. I could
argue we are describing part of something, not the whole thing.
The zygote becomes part of
the whole thing.
What do you mean it's the whole thing? What are you talking about?
The whole thing we're talking about.
That's so unclear and vague. What do you mean?
But it's extremely specific. It is the whole object, the whole. Like
so if a zygote, so let's say that a zygote never develops beyond being a zygote.
Like I said, a whole Jeep.
Hold on. Let's say that a zygote. Whole Jeep. Let's say, hold on. Let's say that I take a zygote, and I take this zygote out and I put it in a petri dish, and I keep this zygote alive through whatever means I need to, and it never multiplies. Is this zygote a person? Does it deserve human rights?
I mean, that's the argument. Does it? That's the argument, actually.
What if 18 years passed? Does this zygote have the right to vote? Should I give
it? Will grow.
Should I? Well, no, I won't. Well, I'm giving you a hypothetical. This zygote does not
I understand.
Grow. So should it have the right to vote?
It would grow to be human at that point, or a fully grown human.
No, I'm giving you a hypothetical. I'm keeping this zygote alive and keeping it from growing. That is something that is technically, theoretically possible. So should it have the right to vote at 18 years old?
I don't think that's possible because it would die.
Theoretically, it's possible.
I mean, the problem is now this is like the people who make arguments with God at this point. This is something that can't happen. So I don't really have an answer.
We talk about things a lot that can't happen. We just did it earlier in the stream.
The problem is this is just another mental gymnastics to come to.
But you can't call every argument that you don't have an answer for mental gymnastics, and that's all you've been doing.
Because you can't ask me an impossible question and think I'm going to have some kind of answer.
If I give you an impossible scenario that can't actually happen in real life,
if you grew that in the dish, it would either die or grow. That's what would happen.
No, if theoretically speaking,
it would not suddenly decide to not grow.
Theoretically speaking,
cells multiply. That's what they do.
Okay, first of all, no. Do you know how blood cells work? They don't multiply.
Not every cell, but those types of cells.
What do you mean those types?
That are in the zygote.
That are in the zygote.
Yes, that it's made up out of.
But
it will grow with nourishment.
But I could stop the process of it growing and just have it live.
And it would
in theory.
Die. Or
in theory, I could do that.
But now we're getting into like a theory. I have to read your research on that. I mean, if you want to send that my way, I'm down to read it.
No, this is a hypothetical situation. I'm asking you if you're so sure that a zygote is a human being.
Yeah, but
we're to
couldn't
stop,
I just feel like if
it were
God
to stop
actually
growing,
existed, would you agree with me?
If it were to stop growing at that stage, which is theoretically possible, and the only reason that it dies is because it doesn't implant and get nutrients. Okay, so if I were to keep it in a petri dish and stunt its growth and give it nutrients so that it stays alive as a singular cell, is that a human? Yes or no?
I mean, it would just be, it would just be chilling there, I guess.
Yes, so after 18 years old, do you think that the cell on this petri dish deserves voting rights? Yes?
This is a magical scenario that would never happen. So I could not.
It's not that far off, man. It's really not.
This is not that far out. Dude, you could make the same argument for God. If I actually had God here,
wait, hold on. Keeping a single cell in a petri dish, keeping a single human cell in a petri dish and keeping it from multiplying is not that far out there. We've done things like that, very close to that. So, like, why could we not do that with a zygote?
You'd have to back this up with something. Unfortunately, this is outside of anything I've ever encountered.
The concept of stunting cellular growth and reproduction is not science fiction. We can do.
Honestly, sounds like 10 million clicks on YouTube. I'm just saying, if you pulled this off, you get like 100 million clicks on YouTube. Just saying.
Okay, buddy.
If you were able to do that in a dish on YouTube, that'd be a lot of clicks, man.
So in theory, you think that a zygote should be allowed to vote if it's 18 years old and still has not developed into like an embryo?
I think this scenario would never happen, and it's a magical scenario. We're pulling out a hammer space again.
But this is the natural logical endpoint of your logic. Like this is the
no, that is a weird scenario you made up.
No, it's not.
I would never make that scenario up. You just did it. I watched you do it. You just said it.
Sorry. What I meant was it is a made-up scenario that I made up, but it's not something that is completely out there. I'm asking you about this because this is the end stage of your logic. No, it's not.
But it's not the end stage of my logic. I'm just fighting for rights. That's it.
Yeah, you're fighting for rights for things that don't exist yet, like humans that do not.
Well, they have to exist for them to have the rights. So they have to actually.
They're not people that exist. Okay, Sally is not an embryo.
Well,
Sally's a person.
No. But here's the distinction: is for you, they have to have been born.
Yes. And I think that my reasoning for that is more sound than your reasoning for thinking
that
a zygote's a human. It doesn't deserve the same rights as me.
But there it is.
Why does a zygote?
There's a slavery
argument.
Why does a zygote don't deserve the same rights as me?
It's not conscious. It can't feel. It can't breathe. It can't talk. It can't act. It can't do anything. It's a vegetable.
Because
why should I care?
You do that, that's the problem. Is because we've reached a point where there's a class of people that you don't like or don't care about. They're not equal. And that's the problem.
But they're
some
not.
Animals,
But you need to qualify that they're people.
than others.
You keep saying that this is the same argument they use
All
for
the
slavery.
humans should be equal. There should be no humans that are
But
not
you haven't
equal to the
convinced
other
me of
humans.
that. Okay, we're going in circles, man. So I mean,
I understand, but no, we know where the difference is. It's that the birth. That's the difference. You believe that once they're born, then they have the rights.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so. I think that you are wrong. This is not a difference of opinion.
Well, we
this is
just
you being
disagree
wrong.
here.
No, this is you being wrong. You're wrong, and you've proven that to me because you can't even tell me what constitutes a zygote being a human being.
Well,
so with that being said, I think that we're good. And
I think you already wanted to come to that conclusion, but really, I'm attacking the arguments. Just keep this in mind with the whole thing.
You can't explain to me why zygotes a human.
Wait,
All you can say is that an egg cell meets a sperm cell, and that makes it a human being deserving of rights for some reason that I can't quite put my finger on. There's nothing that I can measure, nothing you've given me that distinguishes a zygote from a skin cell, from a cat cell.
You haven't done
nothing.
Any of it.
And you clearly haven't either because you can't tell me. So stop accusing me of not doing research that you yourself clearly have not done.
You still haven't done the research.
You came into this debate
even if
unprepared.
Even if I was brain dead,
unprepared.
I just fell on the floor. You still haven't done the research.
You came into this debate unprepared to explain to me why I should consider a zygote a person.
And now we're gonna poison the well.
That's not.
This is the problem. This is the problem. But no, I'm attacking the argumentation. All these argument tactics are just bad tactics to come to a predetermined conclusion without critically thinking about any of it, without caring about truth, without caring about the science, without even doing the research of the science.
You didn't do it either. You didn't do it either. Clearly.
Well, no, we rejected it when I brought it to the table. That's
no, I didn't reject it, man. You just haven't explained to me what I can measure on a zygote that would constitute it being a human being. And most people when I ask, hold on, most people when I ask them that, all cells are made up of the same shit. Most people when most of them, all people when I ask them that, the argument that they correctly jump to, by the way, is it has 46 chromosomes. So why did you not, or is it, 46, yeah. So why did you not make that argument? Like, what's wrong with that one?
Because the rights start when it's concepted. Anything past that, it doesn't.
You did not answer my question. What's wrong with the argument? It's a human being because it has 46 chromosomes. Let's walk through this.
Sure.
Because clearly you were avoiding it.
No, I'm not avoiding it. You haven't made the argument yet.
Okay, but most people when I argue with them, that's the argument they bring up. So I'm curious why you have not postulated that argument.
Because I'm going for the rights. I don't care about that. I'm just the rights for people. That's what I care about.
But we're defining a person. We're defining a person. So if your definition of a person is a zygote, and I ask if you're defining a zygote as a person, you need to be able to explain to me why. I can explain to you why I'm a person or why you're a person. Okay, you were born, and you can breathe, and you can talk, and you can think, and you have feelings, and you have emotions, and that all makes you human. Okay.
You know what's interesting about that is you could measure all those, right?
Yes. So what can I measure on a zygote that makes it a human, that constitutes its personhood?
The entire thing you can measure at current science.
Stop saying the entire thing. I can say the same thing about you.
Well, no, I'm going to give you some ground here. There is a means of measurement fallacy where people get into like cognitive stuff, and yeah, we can't measure all that yet. But the thing is it's gotten really good. Remember during the pandemic?
You're getting off topic, man.
No, this is on topic. When I went up during the pandemic, they scanned my forehead to see if I was sick.
Okay.
The science got better. They could literally tell if I was sick from a distance by scamming me.
Are you saying the science isn't there yet?
The science is not there yet to
measure the personhood
exactly
of a zygote?
To the point. Well, to just examine either the heartbeat or any of that other stuff.
If the science isn't there yet, then you're making a completely unscientific claim. You understand?
Well,
that,
no,
right?
The science will eventually be there, is what I'm saying, and a lot of people will have to move their God further away.
Fine, but until that happens, you're making an unsubstantiated claim.
No. It's just a position of current science.
No, that's an unsubstantiated claim. It's like me saying aliens definitely exist.
No. It's the
if
same
I
thing
say aliens definitely exist, that's an unsubstantiated claim. I can't prove that.
Well, it's an unfalsifiable claim.
They might, but I can't prove that. So
well, it's unfalsifiable, yeah.
Yes, and you're making an unfalsifiable claim that by saying a zygote's a human and saying that we don't have the science to measure its humanity.
No, because we have science to measure some.
Then why did you say we don't? What is this argument? What are you trying to tell me? What's your point?
It's not 100% from point A to point B complete yet. Just like with the telescope. Remember the James Webb telescope that just came out? Remember those great pictures of the planets? If somebody had told you there's no planets beyond that, we can't see them, that would sound crazy. Because we just don't have a telescope that's good enough to see
You
them.
can say
They're
there are probably planets beyond that. We just haven't seen them yet, so we can't prove. There might be
Well,
nothing.
we've detected we're there. We just can't really see what they are.
Yeah, so you have something that you can measure and say, yeah, we've detected planets there.
And we have that for a lot.
Okay, so what's the
Already.
thing they're detecting? You keep saying it's the whole thing. It's the composition. It's the makeup. What about its makeup? The only thing I can think that would even start to make sense
I
is
would
its
refer
genetics.
you to all those links. You'd have to read through there and get as deep as you'd like.
Did you read all of them?
I read a good chunk, yes.
Okay,
but
so
I
then
can't
summarize
iterate
it.
them off the top of my head.
Well, just summarize it.
I already did.
By saying what?
It's at the point of conception.
That's not explaining why it's a human or why I should consider it a person. You
would
understand that, right?
It was the makeup and what it is. That is all you need.
That's
you don't
not
need,
explaining. That's not explaining the concept.
You could get into the details of that, sure. I mean, go for it.
Okay, get into it a little bit. Not too much.
Again,
we
just keep shifting that burden of proof. The burden of all that. You just push it right onto the table over here.
The burden of proof is on you to prove that it's a person.
You made the claim. No. You made the claim it's not.
Yes.
I want to see that evidence.
Yeah, the evidence I've given you is that it has none of the characteristics that qualify a human being, such as being able to think, being able to feel, being able to breathe.
And those are all measurable things.
Yes.
Correct. So it's a means of measurement fallacy is the problem. Is just because we can't be measured doesn't mean it's not there. Just because we can't see those planets doesn't mean they aren't there.
But if you can't measure it, then scientifically, it may as well, like, not be there.
Not exist? Is that what you're gonna say?
Basically,
those planets don't exist.
No, we are measuring the existence of those planets by having said we've detected them, or we can extrapolate and say, well, these planets exist here, and even though we can't measure it over there, we can reasonably determine that there probably is. Just like weather forecasts, right? We use evidence that we have to make the best prediction possible, even if it's not completely sound or correct. Okay? That's what we do. And the evidence that we have is that a zygote is nothing more than a single cell and with no feelings, no emotions, no anything that means that would warrant me giving a single solitary shit about what happens to it or why, or how it gets there. Like, the only thing I care about is the person carrying it, because it attaches itself once again to the person that carries it and feeds off of it. And that is, by the way, to get back to this point, parasitic behavior. And you didn't even address that very well. I let you go on so many tangents during this whole thing that I should not let you get away with. You kept on going on these. Yes. We just kept on going on these tangents that I kept letting you get away with.
You don't want to be stopped when you use your sleight of hand. That's why you ramble.
You know what, man?
If I call you out right when it happens,
I've maxed out my sleight of hand tactic.
But you said it attaches itself, but that's not true. That's not how that happens. It does not make that decision.
It attaches itself.
It's not.
It doesn't make it. Well, according to you, there's purpose to everything. So, like, if there's
I did not
there's
say
an
that.
incentive. There's an incentive for it to attach, right? So the incentive there is for it to attach.
No, incentives don't have to have purpose of the universe.
You can keep thinking that. I think that's a very silly way of using the word incentive.
We could disagree. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
I think we've hit an endpoint. Really, I want to attack the argumentation, though. It's just if YouTube itself, if all these creators could just engage in critical thinking, engage in making like good arguments instead of parroting these bad arguments, we would come to more scientifically good positions and better arguments, and not just screaming at each other or going on these big rambly tangents. I mean, how many YouTube creators do you see just kind of like ramble on when somebody's? I mean, Hassan was yelling at that guy, right? He got mad and he just started yelling at him, like stuff like that. I just wish there was more good, like good science-based, good, what's good for everybody. You know what I mean? Not just us versus them.
I feel like it's really gross to force people, especially victims and even underage.
But this is another cherry pick fallacy.
No,
so
it's not. No, it's
not.
It is.
No,
you
it's
can
not.
say
It's not a
it
million
actually
times.
happens. It happens. Okay, this happens.
It's still
so
cherry pick. It's still an extreme minority.
You have to contend with the fact that by outlawing abortion,
it is because
you have to contend with the fact that by outlawing abortion, you are forcing all of those people through pregnancies that they do not want.
Any law,
that is what you're doing.
By making any law, you're going to make someone mad, and something bad happens.
You're right.
That's just
I don't want to make somebody mad by forcing them through 9 months of carrying a parasite that they don't want attached to them. That's disgusting and perverted and caveman-like.
The other
and how dare you? How dare you try to? Yeah, go ahead. No. I think I've earned this. How dare you try to take science and pervert it in such a disgusting, gross way?
Perverting it now.
Gross.
So bad. Outsider bad.
And you keep trying to say all these fallacy this, fallacy that.
Outsider
wow,
bad.
man, you're so smart. How high is your IQ? I bet you've taken at least 10 IQ tests. Go back to Reddit. Go back to Reddit. Goodbye. Christ. Can't even explain what a human is, man. Oh, sanctity of life, Zygo, it's a human. What makes it a human? Oh, I don't know. It's just the thing is there, and that makes it to human. I'm smart, by the way. Let me use 50 different terms, debate bro logic terms, to make sure that you all know just how smart and special that I am. That I think that it's fine to force 12-year-old victims through pregnancies that they never asked for and could likely die and get injured carrying. Yeah, human's a human. Yeah, good point. You know, he did explain that. God, I reach a point, man. I feel like I have a lot of patience, but I reach a breaking point. Yeah, I gave them a long time to answer whatever I asked them. Like every single time, I gave them ample time, and you know, I really do feel like I gave them a chance to explain themselves, and they just kept going off on all these weird, you know, things that are completely irrelevant to the conversation. Like we got into a whole thing about like evolution, you know, and that can be relevant, but then he starts talking about like how there's an incentive for things to evolve, and it's like that's a weird. You know, the incentive is there, sure, but that's like a weird term to use because incentive means it implies a choice that you make. You know? I think he did good. He couldn't explain why we should care about his zygote. Exactly. And every time I tried to ask him, he just says, well, you should care because it's a human. Okay, but you're begging the question. You know, you want to use debate bro fallacy, logic, whatever. That's begging the question, and that is a fallacy. It's just the entitlement pisses me off. He just thinks he's so, or not the entitlement. It's not even entitlement. It's what's the word I'm looking for? He's just so smug and arrogant. That's what it is. The arrogance, just like the I'm better than you, man. Like and condescension and smugness about it. And he keeps using these words that he thinks he needs to explain to me, or make his argument better. And it's like words aren't magic, man. You can say fallacy as many times as you want, and it doesn't make you any smarter. It just makes you sound smarter to people who already agree with you. And then he has the gall to say that other people are making bad arguments. Like, okay, dude. And then say that like I didn't come prepared to a debate, as if he can't even, as if he could explain why a zygote is a person deserving of rights. I let that go on far too long. Far too long. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Right now, any money that goes toward my editor comes directly out of my main job's paycheck, and it is a little bit of a drain. I'd really appreciate if you go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos. You also get awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name, a beanie badge. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.